No, absolutely not. Hello, Felice.
Oh, it's a great way to wake up. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I've been awake. Just in case nobody was alert, we are all alert together.
That's right. We're up now. We're getting it done.
Everyone's feeling it. Let me find my background. What kind of test is your kid taking?
It's his English Regents today.
Oh, yeah, it's the end of the year. How old is your son, by the way?
He's a sophomore.
God, high school. Such a tough time. Anyone that survives it is a hero.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
It gets better, kids. Not really. It's all downhill. Yeah, it's actually a sleigh ride into just get ready to be underwhelmed
it's
forever.
A really, really fast sled ride into terrible.
Exactly. They keep telling you it gets better. I think just so you just stay alive.
Yeah, I mean that's it. It gets better.
I know. Does it? Laura's like, does it get better? Yeah, no. Just we gotta say it, you guys. Just like they kept telling us.
I know. Yeah.
Don't tell them that you're actually getting dumber and more confused. Like, I remember when I started realizing that adults. Like, oh my God, like, I remember being a child and thinking, okay, like, the adults know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, they've got this. Like,
figured out.
They know, someone knows what's going on. And then it's like, oh shit, no one knows. And we're actually getting dumber. Like, second graders, like, that's why I like 7-year-olds. Like, that's the smartest people ever are. And then it's all downhill from like 7-year-old brains. And it's like so sad because it's like, oh, none of you knew what was going on the whole time? Then why were you spanking me? Why were you beating the shit out of me? What was that about?
What was that about? What was that going on? What was going on there?
They had no clue. Oh, that was just your insecurity?
Yeah. Oh my
God. I thought someone had some idea of what was happening.
No. There's no ideas about what's going on here.
I have so many things to. Can I bring up a few topics?
You can bring up every topic because I'm just happy to be here today.
I know. I figured. I like that's a mess. I'll figure. No. So when I was, I've been walking around. I can't be outside anymore past 9 a.m. because yesterday it was 112 degrees in Phoenix. I want everyone to know it's not supposed to be this hot right now. We're gonna have about 10 million climate refugees moving out of Arizona in a year. So get ready. In neighboring states, get ready, San Diego. You guys hate us all vacationing there. We're all going to be living there soon. Okay, anyways, I'm done with that. It's so hot in Arizona. It's very disturbing. But here's my thing. Have you heard anything? Because I always talk about this. I have like a whole alter ego. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this at one point. But I have a whole like social media following on True Social where think I'm like their like MAGA goddess. I can't tell anyone my name, but I am leading the blind on True Social. Like I know it's so sad. Like, but I use a VPN too, so they can't find me. Like, once people start trying to figure out who I am, they won't know. It's not hard to lead the blind on True Social. These people are idiots. Like, they're like, God, you're smart. I'm like, really? Because that's so sad. Anyway, so I get like regular text updates. I don't know if you understand what is happening with Donald John Trump media and how many updates. Have you heard about Trump Mobile?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I have heard about it.
Listen, so I'm going to read you something. You tell me what you think. So Eric Trump announced the latest family grift. This is from yesterday, Monday, on my birthday, which now I can always remember. Like, there's so many good things I can always remember my birthday by. Eric Trump announced the latest family grift today with a free infomercial. So they're getting free millions of dollars of advertising time for free on Fox. Trump Mobile. This is the quote from Eric Trump. More and more, we are using technology as a company to correct problems. Truth Social was to correct freedom of speech. Okay, said nobody ever who has read the Constitution. Okay, crypto. We've got the biggest projects in crypto. Yeah, you're setting up a way to be bribed publicly. Okay, which was to correct another problem, which is that they were debanking conservatives. Like, because one person wouldn't let Mike Lindell have a Bank of America account, conservatives are being debanked. I was the most canceled person in the country. Eric Trump, shut it. Trump Mobile is going to, this is so crazy. Trump Mobile is going to revolutionize cell phones. We're going to do it better and safer. No one knows what that means. You're going to have phones made in America, and it's going to be cheaper. We're really excited to get into this space. And if you're a Truth Social influencer, you get, I keep getting messages about this all the time. When asked when they would be made in the US, Eric said, eventually all the phones will be built. They're getting them from China. Like, this is the most ridiculous bullshit.
My God.
Eventually all the phones will be built in the US, which means never. This is a good quote though. This is from The Verge. It seems utterly unfathomable that you could build a phone with this set of specs that they're claiming. They're acting like they're building like a better iPhone at this price, to be delivered in September. Either Trump Mobile has done something truly remarkable here, and I'd bet you a T1 phone never mind. Or the phone it ends up shipping will not be the one buyers are expecting. Like we always say here at The Verge, it's vaporware until it ships, and the Trump Mobile T1 phone 8002, that's what it's called, is as vapory as it gets. That's what he's calling it, by the way. Trump Mobile's, and by the way, the cost a month allegedly is $47.45. Do you know what I'm saying? For his 2 presidencies, that's allegedly the monthly cost of this phone. Trump Mobile's inflated price is bolstered by some unique perks. It includes roadside assistance through Drive America Motor Club with a $100 credit toward towing. That's what I want as a woman. Some creepy MAGA guy picking me up in the middle of nowhere. With his quote-unquote tow truck. Nothing makes me feel safer. It also includes device protection through Omega Mobile Care. This could be a good value, but with service plans like these, what matters is how they actually work in practice, and it's hard to ascertain how reliable Omega Mobile Care is when it only seems to exist on the Trump Mobile website, right? Nobody knows if that's the thing.
So I just looked up this Drive America Auto Club. They're based out of Watertown, New York. So like an hour and a half north of me.
Might need to go stand outside. It's probably like an empty warehouse. If you
let me see here. Let's just do this.
Can we just say what's happening? Trump is not going to develop a new phone. They're going to send you like a Nokia phone that has like Snake on it. And then they're going to just buy like, which I actually don't think is bad, because that's what, like, these cheap phone services, which I use one. I was robbed by Sprint for like 15 years, and I promised myself I'm never going to pay hundreds of dollars for phone service that doesn't work again. And when you use like these other phone services that are like $50 a month, all that's happening is they're buying extra airspace on like Verizon's network, or they're buying available airtime on other networks. Like latent.
This Drive America.
It's going to be a plastic phone filled with candy. I don't want to be picked up for that roadside. I don't want to know who's picking someone.
Drive America is a car dealership. It's a car dealership. I'm looking at it on Google Maps right now. It's a car dealership.
Drive time, because I'm thinking, I used to work in the automotive vertical in like the digital space. Like I used to speak at automotive conferences, so I know a lot about the automotive vertical. That's very interesting. Yeah, they might have just picked an address. None of this is real.
No, they have like the Drive America sandwich board thing on the road here. But yeah, there's literally cars all over the parking lot here with the flags that are like sale, we finance, all that shit. This is like a used car lot, is what this is.
Yeah, I know that's what drive time. Yeah, like no, that's what I would assume, and and some of the services they offer to people that buy the cars. So yeah, I'm sure it's just some like weird like network, because that's all it is. It's like different tow trucks can sign up to roadside assistance programs and just say like, we need a certain number of trucks available in a certain area.
Hold on, I think I clicked on the wrong one. That would have been too goddamn hilarious if it was that. No, I think this is it right here. Oh, okay. No, this is it right here. I was like, that they're dumb, but I don't think they're quite that dumb. No. Okay. So here it is right here. This is the Drive America thing. I saw Drive America Auto Club and I clicked on that and that took me to the Watertown one.
Old men in like a mall parking lot parking their cars there.
Yeah. That wasn't, how much does this cost on its own? It doesn't say. Why doesn't it say?
Well, I'm just saying what roadside assistance services are just you get local tow truck drivers in areas to just sign up and agree like, hey, we'll send you. But yeah, it's just like a third party like lead generation system. Yeah.
Yep. Flat tire removal.
Someone said they're saying the phone is $499. Can I just say this? Like, if in fact Trump was developing some amazing cell phone with some amazing technology, where you would debut that, and anybody who's worked in the tech industry knows this, where we all are at the beginning of January, the Consumer Electronics Summit in Las Vegas. If you have some piece of technology that means anything, then he will be there, and then the real critics will eat him alive.
Yep. The 47 plan is what it's called.
It's probably refurbished iPhone 6s. You know what I mean? We're all going to be this looks familiar.
It's definitely not. Let me see here. Fingerprint sensor, AI face unlocked.
I'm just going to say this to iPhone users and Androids. I love you, but I'm just going to say this. I mean, whatever it is, they're still going to ruin the group chat. You know what I mean? They're still going to make the group chats great. Like, I don't care what kind of phone you have. You're still ruining our group chats.
This is going to be some like cheap ass Android, burner phone that you'd probably get through like Straight Talk Wireless that just has Trump's fucking initial on the back of it. And it's spray painted gold. That's all this.
Gonna be spray painted gold for sure. It's gonna be like Liberace threw up on it. Like it for sure. It's gonna be. You guys are all gonna be walking around with like
$500 phone.
The spray paint like chipping off of your phone. It's so gross. Wait, what? I'm sorry. Let me just read that quote again from Eric Trump. When asked when they would be made in the U.S., because that's why this is all about, he's bringing manufacturing to the U.S. Eventually, all the phones will be built in the U.S. When these phones are all shipped when we find them on Temu, just like every product Trump sells, we find it on Temu for $5. Remember Trump's sneakers that we found on Temu for $5?
Yeah.
$5. If you bought those shoes for $500, they were $5 on Temu. Yeah. You could have got a hot glue gun, and you could have just hot glue gun that stuff on there. Yeah, 2 weeks exactly. 2 weeks, you guys.
Has anybody gone through the terms of use yet?
Oh God, no! Please don't even tell me.
But I'm looking.
Anyone? It's now. Just probably to spy on you too. Can we just say that too?
I'm looking through right now.
I'm scared. It's probably like we're reading everything, and anyone who says Trump's fat or ugly will be removed.
All sales are final. So
No, of
no
course they
refunds.
are. Of course they are. Trump doesn't do returns. You can't return
All
plastic
sales
junk
are
to
final
Trump.
and non-refundable. Notice of arbitration. So you'd have to go through an arbitration. Mandatory. Okay. These terms of use require you to submit most disputes to mandatory arbitration, which means that you agree to submit any dispute related to Trump Mobile Services, these terms of use, or our privacy policies to binding individual arbitration rather than proceeding in court except for small claims court.
Where does arbitration happen? Delaware? Because that's where,
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Yeah, well, a lot of them, like in the tech industry, it will always say, like, if you want to sue, you have to do it in Delaware, because businesses have all, that's why you see all businesses are listed in Delaware, because they have extra judicial rights there. Yeah, of course all sales are final with Trump. You're getting a piece of plastic junk. What if it was a Pez dispenser? I would not even.
Oh my God.
Oh, you wanted a phone that connected?
Play school fucking phone. That's
MAGA's internet's already bad. It's just going to get worse.
all right. I'm trying to.
Because we won't be talking to too many more MAGA people in lives. Now we know for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now we could just say we know we won't be speaking to them, and their phones just won't work. And in their cult loyalty program, they'll just be like, "I guess I just won't talk on the phone anymore."
Right. Yeah.
But the Pez dispenser works great, exactly. But the Pez dispenser keeps spitting out candy, so they'll be like, "It's doing something."
I'm trying to see if
This is perfect for my parents. I'm sad because I think a lot of old people are going to buy into this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, my parents still get off on being like, we're the last two people with flip phones. I'm like, that is not a flex.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I have to, if they want to go to like a baseball game, I have to go take my smartphone and drop them off like two toddlers and like scan the tickets and be like, these two embarrassing people like don't have phones, so I've printed out their tickets, and they're like, it's so sad. It is so sad. And my parents are like, we're cool. No, you're not cool.
Shipping and delivery dates are estimates only and cannot be guaranteed. We are not liable for any delays in shipments. Your order will ship as it becomes available.
You buy them now? Is there a waiting list? I need to. Maybe.
Probably.
Should we buy one?
I guarantee you there's a waiting list. We have not reviewed all the websites linked to the Trump Mobile Services and are not responsible for the content of any third-party pages and any other websites linked to the Trump Mobile Services or any products or services offered by third parties. Further, we are not responsible for the availability of any websites owned or controlled by third parties. We do not endorse, blah, 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 blah.
Your phone might not work. That's not our fault. You might call roadside assistance. No one may come. That's also not our fault.
Oh, by using Trump Mobile Services, you agree that you will not upload, post, email, or otherwise transmit any material or other content that is defamatory, libelous, disruptive, threatening, invasive of a person's privacy, harmful, abusive, harassing, obscene, hateful, or racially, ethnically, or otherwise objectionable, or that otherwise violates any laws, contains software viruses or any other computer codes, files, or programs.
Hey, you can't be racist, MAGA.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
I think that excludes all. I'm sorry, MAGA. There it is. You guys. And do you know how many of these phones are going to be used in the commission of a crime? Do you know what I mean? It's some sort of like domestic T group situation. Like,
oh my, we reserve the right in our sole discretion to edit, delete, or refuse to post user content for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
Free
I mean,
speech.
Big Brother's yeah, but this is, can you imagine well, they can't read, so they think they support the First Amendment. They've never read it. Like, they're like, we're going to actively, so I think I'm sorry I didn't see who wrote it. Someone said they're going to package and sell your data 100%. Like,
Oh, yeah,
this
absolutely.
It's literally like MAGA signing up to be spied on to, like, think about how many interesting things they can glean from this metadata, like consumer sentiment, like the general ideas of MAGA. And that's something I want to get into. I mean, I could talk about Trump scamming. That's what bothers me the most, too. It's like, I know a lot of MAGA, based on the D threats I get every day, does not like me, but I actually have a ton of empathy for them. I think the worst part of Trump is that he keeps stealing from the people that support him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the worst part about it, is like, these people would unalive for him. And he steals from them. He lies to them. He grifts them. And there's no end in sight. Now they all have to buy his dumbass phone so he can spy on them and, like, package their metadata and sell it.
So here, TrumpMobile.com, it powered by Liberty Mobile Wireless LLC. Okay.
There you go. Liberty Mobile. Okay, I've heard of Liberty Mobile before.
Yeah. They have a 4G network. That's it. They don't have a 5G network.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They buy the lower tier airspace from the AT&T and Verizon networks.
Yep.
That's what it is. And that's how you know. And some phone services, like, you can look into this, and I don't know if there will be tiers with Trump's plan, but you can buy like prepaid phone time, and then what you have to look into the terms of service, because then you could say, okay, this is not like the 4G airtime, like you can get the 5G or the LTE, and you have to like notice which package you're buying, because I don't want to be locked in phone contracts anymore, but you have to be really careful with what you're buying and make sure it's like the premium space on like AT&T and Verizon's network, and you can get it, but you just have to read and make sure. 5G is so woke. Yeah, 5G is so woke. Who needs to join a live stream? You're right. You're right, Cindy.
Half of the entire fucking country is under, according to Liberty Mobile Inc.'s coverage map, under roaming voice.
Even like internet can't even get on a live. That's just to make a call, MAGA. You're going to be roaming.
Half of the
reminds me of my Sprint
country
contract.
Wouldn't even be able to access data.
No, I talk about this all the time. Like, I had Sprint. I was robbed by Sprint for like 10 years, and their headquarters is in Overland Park, Kansas. It's actually really cool corporate. I worked in advertising, and Sprint, like, I was supposed to land the Sprint contract, which is worth like a shitload of money for the publicly traded social media company I worked for. So I went out there and I thought, like, oh, I've got this. Like, I have Sprint service. So like, when I go in this meeting with this chief marketing officer, I'm going to be like, oh, I have Sprint. Do you know when I told those people in that meeting I had Sprint, what they did? They all burst out laughing. And they were like, they literally pulled out a map and they were like, okay, it was like overlaid, and they're like, here is AT&T's network, and that's the largest. And then they're like, here is Verizon's network, and that's the second largest. And then they had like an overlay of like yellow, and they're like, here's Sprint's network. And like what you're describing, like, and they were like, none of us have Sprint. And I'm like, you guys, and they're like, that was before, because I think they have merged legally with T&T, or what is it? T-Mobile now.
T-Mobile,
to share networks, and that was before. And they're like, they were like, even if we merge with T-Mobile, this is how small our network still is compared to Verizon and AT&T. And I was like, oh, they're like, it is not a flex to have Sprint. I was like, my phone does not work. I was like, I live in like San Francisco, New York, and Phoenix, and my phone doesn't work. And they're like, yeah, now you're getting it.
I'm trying to see like what towers they're using.
He maybe is right. Like, once they showed that to me, I was like, that explains so much. I've been paying I paid $125 a month for like 12 years before they were like, what the or like Sprint executives were like, none of us have Sprint. What are you doing?
Right. Let me see here. I'm trying to see.
I'll say I'm glowing. It's the melanin. I have a black Hispanic father. I turn many colors. By August, you're gonna be like, what's happened to Felice? She looks I just change colors with the seasons. I have like 7 different colors of makeup.
Love it.
I just move through.
Just rotate.
Oh, that's
through.
Tom Ford perfume. You know, it's like oil, not, you know what I mean? That's how you know perfume's real. I'm not sweating. It's people are like, are you wearing baby oil? No, it's perfume.
Yeah. So this is who everything's going through. Is Liberty Mobile Inc. Wouldn't it be hilarious if this company, like this Liberty Mobile Inc.
No, I might get one of these phones and be like, yeah, I love Trump. Like, just, to cover my ass while I'm up to other things. It's the same reason I'm an influencer on True Social. Like, just in case when it comes up, I'm going to be like, was I not supporting you or was I supporting you this whole time?
Right.
Which one is it?
Which one
really?
is it?
Or am I one of your biggest organizers ever? I don't know if I've ever told you that I'm banned from Trump rallies. I have a letter with my name on it that says I can never go to any event where Trump is at.
I'm going to need somebody that has read through other terms. Is this just like a normal shit?
No, that's not normal.
Okay,
no,
so,
it's
no,
not normal.
Because like unauthorized use of plans with unlimited services, right? TrumpMobile.com plans may not be used for certain unauthorized uses that adversely impact on our service to other customers or the carrier's network. Example of some unauthorized uses include, but are not limited to, the following: continuous uninterrupted voice calls, automated text or picture messaging to another mobile device or email address, uninterrupted and continuous uploading, downloading, or streaming of audio or video, server devices or host.
Basically, like, this phone's not going to work and there's nothing you could do about it. But I'll say this. If you ever read terms of service, I'll say this, and this comes from me working for a publicly traded social media company. And when you work with general counsel, if you get into the terms of service of any company, it will say things like this. It's basically like, hey, if everything we promise you doesn't come true, you still can't hold us liable. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't, but it's going to be a fight. And that's why, like, I would have to negotiate contracts for Fortune 500 advertisers with our general counsel. And I mean, you can't imagine what it says. Like State Farm. Oh my God. I legally can't talk about this, but I think this will be something super interesting. State Farm, like, these are people who do risk assessment, and not just risk assessment, they're predicting future disasters. Like, now I understand they were projecting the pandemic, but I didn't understand what they were talking about. Like years before it happened, they're like, when this happens, and like, we're all on this conference call, and they're like, when a worldwide pandemic comes, here's how it's going to happen. How are you going to protect our data? And we're like, what the fuck? Like, it's fascinating to listen to, like, what companies know or like are assuming will happen, and a lot of it has come true. So yeah. Who knows? We need to move on from Trump Mobile. It obviously sucks, but I might get one just so I can make calls from it or try to join lives from it. And when people are like, your phone's not working, I'm like, that's weird. It's a Trump Mobile phone. It's top of the line. Super weird that no one can hear me right now.
In
like
2004.
Yeah, like, exactly. It's going to have Snake on it. Don't we
2004
all want
phone.
those Nokia Snake phones back? Do you know what I'm talking about? The line that couldn't run into itself. Phones were all downhill since Snake went away.
Indestructible? Yeah.
I know, exactly. It was like a brick that you could just like throw at the wall. Let's bring back those. I want
Build a
Snake.
fucking house out of those things.
My ADHD loves Snake. There's never been another game on a phone
I'm sure
that
Snake
who knew
still
just trying to
exists
get a line to not
the
run
App
into that
Store.
line could be so
I know, yeah. Yeah.
I'm a simple person. Okay, I have to move on there because I have so many
Yeah.
questions I want to ask what you think about. Okay, so I want to talk about Trump was in Canada for the G7 summit, which was a absolute disaster. But here's what I want to say. So he's in this press appearance with Mark Carney, who's the Prime Minister of Canada. And I want to say, if you don't know anything about Mark Carney, he's pretty much like what you would consider in Canada a Wall Street finance bro. You know what I mean? Like that. He's a finance bro, a Canadian finance bro. Like, okay. This is a quote. So here we go. Trump was in Canada today representing Vladimir Putin, which I think it's funny how this is worded. Because, I mean, it was literally like Trump should have had a shirt on that's like, I'm here on my knees for Putin. And Putin was kicked out of, Putin was kicked out of the G8, right? That's why it's the G7, because they threw him out. And Trump's like, I'm here to S some D for Putin. So anyways, he said this to the press in his appearance with Prime Minister Mark Carney, quote, Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else because he doesn't want to talk to them because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8, as I would be. He was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people along with Obama, and he's not happy about it. I can tell you that. Now, I find this hilarious. So let me just give some facts around that. So former Representative Tom Malinowski, that this is a quote from him that I love. Not that facts matter in this person's head, but Putin spoke to Obama multiple times after Russia was justifiably kicked out of the G8. And Secretary of State John Kerry spoke and met with the Russians scores of times about Ukraine, Syria, Iran, etc. Like Jurgen Naudit said, to clarify Trump's lies, Russia was expelled. Now, because this is how funny. Trump believes that he's speaking gospel, but it's like he can't even say, he's so senile. Not one word is true. To clarify Trump's lies, Russia was expelled from the G8 in 2014 for annexing Crimea and supporting military action in eastern Ukraine. The G7 states, the US, Canada, Japan, Germany, France, UK, and Italy, viewed this as a violation of international law and the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Following the annexation of Crimea in March 2014, the G7 members suspended Russia's participation and the meeting in Sochi was canceled. Instead, the G7 met in Brussels without Russia. Trudeau was also not Canada's PM when Russia was kicked out. Not one word was correct. Bless him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just dumb.
Here to S Putin's D. He's not here, but he's always watching. Can you imagine what Putin must have on him?
I can't wait for that to come out. Because
I don't know if anyone noticed or saw this, but did you see that? So the Department of Defense account on X, which is, conceivably run by Pete Hegseth, he put 2 Russian flags in their Flag Day social media post. This is how sad how much Trump or Putin must have on him. Let us honor the emblem of our nation and the stars and stripes that unite us all as we display our nation's flag and reflect on the values it represents. Let's celebrate the freedom, courage, and resilience that makes our country great. It says Flag Day. There's a U.S. flag on the side, and then underneath there are literally 2 Russian flags.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Yeah, why?
Why do you think?
No, I know
Trump's
why.
S in some D. Have you seen Russian state media? This is how I know MAGA can't read or listen effectively, because most of these videos are on X and translated for them. So it's not like they even have to read the screen. Do you understand? Nobody has mocked Trump's military parade more than Putin.
Yeah.
And Russia. like 24 hours a day. They have like, oh my gosh, I think I recorded one of the videos. It'll be sounds like farts and like weird like clown music, like circus music, while Trump's military parade goes by, while Russian announcers on Russian state media laugh hysterically.
Yeah.
Like,
so I can't, I wish I could use Live Studio so that I could pull it up here. But yeah, if you see the tweet, if you just go to Google and type, Russian flag DOD tweet, it'll pull right up. So whoever designed this graphic, I'm assuming it was Eric or Don Jr. They have
been Pete. This is right up his alley of his expertise.
Yeah, it could have been Keg's breath. The right underneath Flag Day, there's like 3 stars, and then flanking on either side is just like white and red bars, right? And I know what they were going. They're trying to play this off as like it's the colors of the American flag, which is red, white, and blue. But that's also the colors of the Russian flag. So, order is important when you put these things out, right? So instead of doing like red, white, and blue, right, which would make sense, if you're talking about the United States flag, because that's how the red, white, and blue, they did white, blue, red, which is the order that it is on the Russian flag. So, it's, we're just not even subtle about it. It's not even subtle about it.
And I could talk about the psychology thing. I mean, it's psyops too, right? It's recognition. Like, I don't think MAGA realizes how fully indoctrinated they're being. Like, symbols mean things.
Yeah.
Right? Just like words mean things, right? I mean, that's what I mean, and that there's power behind it all. That's why, there's class in history, you take classes just about symbolism, right? Symbolism through history, because of how powerful it is and how important it is to recognize symbols when you see them. And MAGA is not capable of they're just like, oh, Trump wouldn't steer me wrong. A man that can barely read and tells like more lies than truth. I mean, if for every lie this man, or let's say for every time Trump accidentally gets something right, there's 10 to 15 lies. Why? And your full-time job as MAGA is to do like this weird tap dance. You know what I mean? Like watching them be like, well, this is what he meant. And like here, okay, well, just because like 28 women say that he, grabbed him by the pee, and then he also just confessed to that randomly when he didn't think anyone was listening on tape, and he specifically said, that thing I'm going to be accused of by a woman, and then I'm going to be found civilly liable for it. Well, let me just go ahead a couple years prior and just confess to doing just that on tape in no uncertain terms. Exactly what this woman is describing happened to her, and comes out to civilly sue him later. Like, I'm just going to describe the exact crime and say, here is my modus operandi. That's Latin. That's beyond most of MAGA. But here's my MO. Here's exactly how I like to commit the crimes. And then MAGA's still like, well, I don't know. Women, she wanted it. I mean, who goes into a dressing room? Like, it's just, there's no way. Like, your full-time job is to make sense of things that obviously make no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's the only thing they do is, how can I justify what Donald Trump said? How can I, Fred Astaire dance my way around and
best tap dance of all time.
Make sense.
Exactly. It's like, it's got to be the best dance of all, and you got to keep tap dancing, and this is okay. Can I say this is what I want to go into? Because, well, first of all, I want to get into the new wars. Whoever typed that, I did see you. Like, MAGA. If any one of you, there's 664 people I know, and I love that you guys aren't talking S in the chat. Thank you. But I know one of you's in here listening. No new wars, right? And I want to say this. That's the real MAGA. I think that the original MAGA, not the rich technocrat billionaires who crave war and benefit from the United States war machine, like not the billionaires who are like salivating at the military contracts they know are coming, not the rich people who are robbing you and have somehow convinced you that immigrants have your money, not those people, but the original MAGA, and I would say, and it's sad that she's your leader, but let's say the people Marjorie Taylor Greene represents. And this is going to sound scary, but like, I'll say this. The nicest thing I can say about Marjorie Taylor Greene is she is super dumb still to this day, but I will say she's slightly less dumb than she was 2 years ago. That's my compliment. I mean, because she was mind-bogglingly stupid, and now she's still extremely, unbelievably stupid. But just, you know what I mean? Like, occasionally I'm like, well, I'll say this. I feel like Margarine can reckon is... Yeah, I will. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm saying she's still unbelievably stupid. I'm not saying like there's not like some breakthrough or something we're talking about. This is going to be underwhelming. Everyone get ready to be just whelmed.
Okay.
Okay, we were underwhelmed. Now we're just whelmed by Marjorie. No, like, I think, here, let me actually have a quote that I actually did some preparation, had some extra time today while you were dropping your kid off. Okay, so this is a quote from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wait, let me make sure. Well, maybe I should preface this. So this has to do with the no new wars topic. Let's just get into it right now, right? Trump said no one would ever start a war.
Oh, yeah.
As long as I was in power, no new war. Trump ran on, I am the most feared person. I've got it all together. The minute I'm in office, they would never. Yeah. No new wars, MAGA.
Yeah.
Remember that? I cannot tell you the hundreds of idiots I've had to debate who are screaming, Trump said it never would have happened if he was there. He was handed a ceasefire that is turning into World War III.
Yes.
MAGA. And you have two options, right? You can say either Trump is an idiot and a liar, or you can say somehow Trump is going to financially benefit from this and is letting it happen, or it's a combination of both. I don't know how you want to look at it, but this is so let me just read some quotes and I'll get to margins at the end. Okay, so Trump's giving basically a blank check. Don't think that Trump didn't know that was happening. We were evacuating U.S. diplomats from Iran. We knew Israel was going to attack Iran. We were putting out warnings like, get out now. We knew, Trump knew. We fund Israel's military. They don't do anything without us knowing. But Trump giving a blank check repeatedly to Netanyahu in the region while pledging that he will end all wars. And that's not even accurate. He said no wars would dare start because everyone fears him.
Right.
And keep the U.S. out of conflicts has split his base with the various MAGA factions attacking each other. And you can see this on X. It's fascinating to watch. This is worse than a lot of their Elon Musk Trump conflicts. Like, some of them really, they're like libertarians. Like, the original MAGAs actually believe in this idea of like, we should not get in any foreign conflicts. It costs too much money. It's like, they bastardized libertarian ideals, right? Okay. Anyways, Trump has split his base with various MAGA factions attacking each other over it and him. You have the no wars isolationists in the movement versus the Trump can do no wrong cultists, and it has gotten pretty ugly between them. Tucker Carlson on Steve Bannon's show today said, this is a quote, Tucker Carlson's going after Trump. I believe this is going to end Trump's presidency, effectively end it by breaking his coalition apart. Tucker then trashed Fox because, again, Fox is represented by billionaires who profit from war. Tucker then trashed Fox for pushing war with Iran 24/7 on their network. Here's the quote from Tucker Carlson talking to Steve Bannon. What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose. Tucker used to be gargling the propaganda hose.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Can you imagine? He's mad he lost his
Tucker
song.
Carlson was the guy. Have you seen the movie
I haven't heard
UHF,
that.
the Weird Al movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, "You did it, Billy. You want a drink from the fire hose?" That's Tucker Carlson.
He got kicked out of the propaganda machine. Now he's identifying it as, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them pro-war. Tucker thinks Fox is a propaganda network that manipulates their largely senior citizen audience. Yeah, that's what Tucker Carlson did for a living.
Yeah,
okay.
he would
So
know.
Trump was asked yesterday about these comments about Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon shitting on him, talking about no new wars. And this is what Trump said. I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a job with a TV network so people can hear what he's saying. It's like, who? I love this. Like, remember when Tucker used to be important to Trump? That's hilarious. Okay, but let's get to Margarine Trader Green.
Yeah.
So this is Margarine's quote. Everyone is finding out who are real America First MAGA and who were fake, and just said it's because it was popular. Unfortunately, the lists of fakes are becoming quite long and expose themselves quickly. Anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America First / MAGA. We are sick and tired of foreign wars, all of them. And this one will quickly engulf the Middle East, BRICS, and NATO, as countries are required to take a side. Real America First MAGA wants world peace for all people and doesn't want our military killed and forever injured physically and mentally.
I didn't hear
thoughts?
her calling out Donald Trump, though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying she's calling out Donald Trump. No, of course, none of them ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not the point. But I do love, like, the cracks. Here's another one. We have spent trillions in the Middle East, and we have dealt with the aftermath of death, blown apart bodies, never-ending unalivings, and disabling PTSD, all because they told us propaganda as to why we must sacrifice our own to defend some other country's borders and some other country's borders. Which again, Margarine's an idiot, right? Like she has no concept of how the global economy works, how foreign policy works, and she's demonstrating that. Isolationism is an idiot argument. I just think it's fascinating to watch her start to try to divide her own power base.
Yeah. I still don't think she's any smarter.
I don't want to. I'm not saying, I don't think she's smart. I'm not saying, I said that already. I don't think she's smart.
Not that she's smart, just that she's not as dumb as she was before. I still think she's the same.
Well, I don't think,
Yeah.
listen, I think that she learned her smart, you remember when she defended Kevin McCarthy? Like, think about this. Kevin McCarthy was K Street embodied, right? Like he represented all of the lobbyists and he was the swamp. He was the swamp walking around in Congress. Yeah. And that's when I realized how dumb Margarine was. It's like, you're America First and you have allied yourself with the swamp of lobbyists.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
None of it makes sense. It's just fascinating to watch. And any MAGA that wants to explain to me how any of this can make sense, right? Yeah. How you can be an isolationist whose best friends still to this day and say Kevin McCarthy never should have left the House. He was the greatest speaker ever. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it.
Listen, this whole Iran Israel thing is gonna get bad.
No new wars, Matt.
I know it's gonna get real bad.
Any MAGA person that's listening right now, just admit that Trump lied or is delusionally narcissistic, and nobody, of course, as more countries have attacked each other under Trump than attacked each other under Biden. Yeah. Can anybody just count and admit the truth?
No.
Like, this is no new wars. They would never. And imagine being dumb enough to vote for someone believing that some guy who says men shouldn't wear makeup wakes up every morning, slathers himself in the grossest, most terrible makeup, and says that he's a man. He's the man's man. Don't worry. This guy's a real man. And no one would ever make him look like a fool.
Yeah.
Putin, Trump was on his knees at the G7 summit, crawling on his knees, delivering Putin's message while Putin is dropping bombs on Ukraine. No new wars, though, right? Day one, Trump's going to end that war. Now we're actually seeing, and I could get into it, like, Iran is not the first country that Israel attacked when Trump got into office, right? They went to Syria, they went to Lebanon. They are literally attacking everyone around them.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, either Trump is the literal dumbest mother effer on this earth and a literal cuck while we all watch him be cucked, or, and it could be a little bit of both. I do think it's a little bit of both. Or maybe he's like, I don't know. What could he be getting from this? Like Trump Tower Palestine? You know what like, what is he getting to allow Netanyahu, our like wayward stepchild in the Middle East that's funded completely by our tax dollars, to do all of this?
Yeah. It's real estate. Donald Trump wants that real estate on the Mediterranean Sea. That's what he wants. Let's not kid ourselves that this isn't about peace. This isn't about, stability in the region. It's about real estate in Gaza. It's about real estate along the Mediterranean Sea. And look, Donald Trump is going to do whatever. I always say this. Donald Trump is going to do whatever is going to benefit Donald Trump, right? Everything he does is for the benefit of himself and himself only. That's it. Do you know how I know that? Because the U.S. group that the United States had in Ukraine to pressure Russia to a ceasefire, Donald Trump disbanded that group. They're gone. The group that we as the country used in the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia to pressure Russia into a ceasefire, Donald Trump disbanded it.
Oh, right? Not just that, though. Like, we had, was it Yale that was tracking the children that had been stolen? Like, it was Yale, I think it was Yale University who was tracking the children that had been stolen from Ukraine and conscripted into the Russian army. There's hundreds of thousands of them, and they were keeping track of them. And this was being funded by the U.S. government. So hopefully we could later somehow return these kids. And Trump defunded it. Trump also made it easier to act as a foreign agent on U.S. soil, right? Like, so Russians could come and bribe him on U.S. soil easier.
And when it comes to Iran, right, a lot of people forget that back in March, the director of national intelligence, right, Tulsi Gabbard, testified before Congress that Iran was nowhere near having the capabilities to develop any kind of, nuclear weapons. And Donald Trump said yesterday, I don't believe her.
Don't even bring Tulsi Gabbard into this because she's an idiot. But you know what I mean?
I know, but like
it's all U.S. intelligence.
Yeah.
All U.S. intelligence for decades. And not just U.S. intelligence, the Five Eyes, European intelligence. All intelligence says that they have enriched uranium. They're using it for nuclear power, but have never made a move to turn any of that into a weapon, right? But why? What have we learned? This is Iraq all over again, right?
Yeah.
Here comes the IDF.
No, it already is, because Donald Trump yesterday, Timu tweeted out that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Donald Trump put that, the president of the United States, Timu tweeted that out on his fucking stupid ass social media site, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran.
And you know what? Why shouldn't he? Like, he full-time spreads Russian propaganda and lies.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? Why not just now pick up Israeli propaganda? And let me just, I'm just a thinking person. Because, like, there are idiot conspiracy theories that MAGA likes to engage in, like that weird Washington, D.C. cosmic pizza place one. You know what I mean? There's like the absolute asinine conspiracy theories of which there are no evidence of. And then there's like, hey, through research and data, I can make some educated guesses of how Trump is benefiting from this situation. I don't know. Like, MAGA, you were all very concerned, or maybe you weren't because none of you can read. But Trump has been a target of unaliving by Iran for a couple years now, due to a lot of things and decisions he made. I mean, when that kid, the little kid who took a pew-pew and tried to unalive Trump, that turned out to just be a little Republican kid or whatever, but who they thought it was Iran.
Right. Because
they had been getting so many warnings, like, Iran's going to take a shot at Trump, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so while Trump's like, oh, look at me. And again, the classic conservative move. I have lied about a problem. I created a problem, right? Like, I played this, I have this video on my phone. It's really great. That Now This is such a great account to follow now. And they're Now This Impact. And in 2018, when Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, right? He lied, like, I think it was every 9 seconds in the video about it. Every reason he gave for pulling out of the nuclear deal was in fact a lie. Right. And I have that fact checked.
Did my entire live freeze?
It's like, yeah, weirdo. You lied about the one we had, told complete lies instead of building off of it, which benefited who? Israel and other places in the Middle East. So anyways, now he's like, I'm going back into negotiation. Suddenly, Netanyahu's attacking the people that he has been very angry at for a long time.
And it's funny that we bring up Netanyahu, because I don't know if you all knew this, but Netanyahu has testified before the United Nations that Iran was 2 weeks from obtaining nuclear weapons. And he's been saying that since 2009. That Iran is 2 weeks. They're 2 weeks away. It's any minute now, guys. They're going to have it any minute now. 2 weeks. He's been saying the same thing since 2009. And how many does Iran have now? 0. Almost 20 years later, 0. Weird. You'd think that in 20 years, if they were 2 weeks away, like even with some delays, probably wouldn't take 20 fucking years of delays for them to do it. That's weird. So it's almost like it's not true. It's
almost like that. Yeah.
It's almost like that's not what's happening. So yeah. Read Trump's truth.
And I know it's not worth mentioning. And still, during this whole time, I have I have hundreds of clips screen recorded of Scott Bessent telling lie after lie for Trump under oath in Congress. Or let's say obfuscating. Like, I mean, I guess he could just be an idiot. He's a real economist who learned at the feet of George Soros, MAGA's best friend. Like, it's none of this. This is all a distraction. We're all being robbed. Not just robbed, but big oil and gas and big tech are getting all of these favors. For 10 years, no states can regulate AI. Yep. I've said this before. There is a amazing parody movie. If you have any access to HBO Max, everyone, I think I might play it in the Discord or something in the next couple weeks. Everyone needs to watch Mountainhead. Everyone needs to if you have access to HBO Max, watch Mountainhead. the movie. It is a satirical. There's Steve Carell and like it's really entertaining, but also, I mean, it is the perfect satirical parody of billionaires and what they are doing with AI to hurt us all. Like, it's terrifying that we all have to sit here and have these conversations. Okay, so Dave Smith, who's like a frequent guest of Joe Rogan, let me read a quote to you from Dave Smith, who's like Joe Rogan's bestie. Trump, I supported him this past year, and I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. He should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's an absolute betrayal of everything that he campaigned on. I know Trump supporters have been labeled a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of them, but he's going to lose his coalition over this.
Sure.
And they're talking about the Middle East and Trump, no new wars Trump, very clearly allowing a war to happen.
Sure.
And benefiting from it. And MAGA is either not smart enough to identify that. We were evacuating U.S. diplomats from Iran.
Yeah. Yep. I don't believe that any of them are going to turn on him. I know that.
I don't. Of course not. Like, that's the nature of this cult, is just, hey, it's like a cross. Those goalposts are like a cross. MAGA's just like, up, here we go. Put those goalposts, put them on my back and just drag them a little further backwards.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it's their cross to bear. Like, there's no level of lying that they're not prepared to swallow, like literally on their knees. Like, get those goalposts on your back, MAGA. No new wars. Yeah. You've got a lot of walking to do.
And it's also really important that while Israel is lobbing missiles back and forth with Iran, they're also continuing to decimate the civilian population in Gaza. Tanks yesterday unalived another like 60-something civilians at a hospital. So, I mean, like, it's...
And I don't want to be gross, but like, we're at a point where that's probably like the humane unalivings. Like, these people have not been given food or water in over 100 days. Just know that. Like, what's worse? To slowly unalive while you don't have access to clean water and your muscles cramp and like curl up. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced severe dehydration, but the pain of that is unimaginable. But nobody could just quite get there with Kamala on the left. I'll never forget that.
I do have to break in real quick. New York City comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander was arrested outside of immigration court this morning. New York City comptroller and Democratic mayoral candidate Brad Lander was arrested by federal agents at an immigration court Tuesday as he was trying to accompany a person out of a courtroom. A reporter with the Associated Press witnessed Lander's arrest at a federal building in Manhattan. The person Lander was walking out of the courtroom was also arrested. Lander had spent the morning observing immigration court hearings and told an AP reporter that he was there to accompany some immigrants out of the building. A video of the arrest captured by an AP reporter shows an agent telling Lander, "You're obstructing." In the moments before Lander was handcuffed, agents could be seen trying to physically separate Lander from the man they had come to detain. Lander briefly struggled to stay close to the detainee before he was pulled away. "I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway," Lander said as he was being handcuffed. "You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens asking for a judicial warrant," Lander said as he was led away down the hallway and into an elevator. One of the officers who led Lander away wore a tactical vest labeled federal agent. Others were in plain clothes with surgical masks over their faces. The episode occurred as federal immigration officials are conducting large-scale arrests outside immigration courtrooms across the country. Emailed inquiries to the FBI and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement were not immediately returned. Lander is a candidate in the city's Democratic mayoral primary. Early voting in the contest is underway. In a statement, Lander's campaign said, while escorting a defendant out of immigration court at 26 Federal Plaza. Brad was taken by masked agents and detained by ICE.
Can so I knew when you said that name, I was like, I know this guy, and he made me cry once. Okay, so when that whole thing went down, right? Like, we have a black U.S. Congresswoman who's charged with 3 felonies for doing what she's legally allowed to do, like conducting oversight at an ICE facility in New Jersey, right? It was the day that Mayor Ross Baraka he was arrested, which they had to drop the charges because he did nothing wrong, and they had nothing on him. Now we have a black Congresswoman charged with 3 felonies again, and I've spent hours on my lives going through the show. Oh, sorry.
I just saw in the chat, my friend Martina said there is a rapid response protest happening at 26 Federal.
New York has the best protests.
Yeah,
this is going to be, if you're
Federal
anywhere
Plaza,
near New York.
Oh God, do I have to drive?
Wait, I want to play this though. I have a clip of Brad.
No,
so this
ahead,
is what I want to say. Like, Brad Lander, when Ross Baraka was still detained, like exactly what the person's talking about. They did a rapid response protest in New York City, and all of the people running to replace gross Eric Adams as mayor showed up, and like, I played this protest, like the clips on my live, and we were all crying. Like, listen, I want you to hear who Brad Lander is. He's a Democratic progressive. This is the speech he gave when Ross Baraka was detained for just trying to conduct oversight and doing nothing wrong. This is the guy they just arrested.
The mayor who is standing up for the rule of law.
Here, hold on. Sorry.
This is a moment when it is essential that New Yorkers, that New Jerseyans, that Americans stand up for everyone's rights. It is a critical time to stand up and be counted. And I was proud to be out there yesterday with New Jersey working families and New Jersey Make the Road and a lot of folks here when Mayor Ross Baraka walked out of that ICE detention facility. We were there to have his back because, let's be clear, Newark has a mayor who is standing up for immigrant residents of Newark. Newark has a mayor who is standing up and fighting for due process. Newark has a mayor who is standing up for the rule of law. And Newark has a mayor who knows that the only way to protect people is to protect all people. And that's why thousands of folks flowed out there last night to have his back, to demand his release, to chant, "Free Mayor Baraka!" Free Baraka! After enough chanting, lo and behold, Mayor Baraka walked out. And that's why we're out here today, because unfortunately in New York City, we do not have a mayor who stands up for immigrant New Yorkers. We don't have a mayor who stands up for due process. Instead, in a split screen put in their correctional facility. So let's be clear, bending the knee, that is what tyrants want. They depend on fear. They depend on cowardice. They depend on capitulation. Eric Adams is giving the tyrant exactly what the tyrant wants. And you could see it yesterday in the way that Donald Trump laughed at Eric Adams and laughed at New York City. But the set of people here know it is time to stand up and fight back, yeah? Yes! And that's what we did yesterday in Newark. And that's what we are doing here in New York City. Because when people show up, something different happens. You know, there's that poem, and I'll just end with this. There's that poem by Martin Niemöller. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak up because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak up. Now, that poem doesn't have a line, then they came for the mayors. And I think when they come for the mayors, it's already pretty bad. But the thing is, we are speaking up because we're going to write a different poem than that, right? That poem's going to say, First, they came for Mahmoud Khalil, and I did speak up because I would not let students or people protesting be taken away without voice. And then they came for Mohsen Madawi, and I did speak up. And then Mohsen walked out free. And then they came for Ras Baraka, and I did speak up because due process matters, because rule of law matters, because freedom matters. We are writing a different poem here in New York City, and it is going to end with the restoration of freedom and civil rights.
And now he's in jail.
Now he's in jail. For those of you that were asking, the pop-up protest is happening at 26 Federal Plaza in New York. It's down in the financial district, I think. Just west of Chinatown.
Brad Lander, he's running to replace active elected criminal Eric Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the amazing mayoral candidates. There's so many good ones.
Yeah. This is insane. So just to recap, we had oh my God, Senator Padilla detained, right, by Department of Homeland Security and federal officers, but when he was trying to ask Kristi Noem a question during a press conference. And today we have Brad Lander, who is the New York City comptroller and mayoral candidate, arrested for walking somebody who showed up to their immigration hearing out of the courthouse. We had a judge. That's right. Yeah, I did forget. God, that feels like it was 1,000 years ago. They also arrested a judge in Minnesota for doing the same damn thing. Wisconsin, excuse me. Yeah, for doing the same damn thing. Like this is, look, I think people need to stop asking, is this who we are? Because this is who we are now. The question that you need to be asking yourselves is this who we should be? Is this who you want to be? Do you want to be the country that is arresting people for walking immigrants out of their immigration hearing? Do you want to be the country that arrests sitting senators for trying to ask questions of people that they are tasked with providing oversight for? Do you want to be the country that arrests judges because they happen to let somebody walk out a different door than everybody else did? Do you want to be that country? And I know for the 800 people that are in here, it's probably, 99.9% of you that are in here are going to say no. But that's the questions that you need to be asking your family that are still silent about this. That's the questions that you need to be asking your friends that are still silent about this. Is this the country that you want to be? Because it's not the question of, is this who we are? That question has been answered numerous times over at this point. This is who the United States of America is right now. This is who we are. The question is, do you want to be that? And if not, what are you doing to fix it? That's the questions that we have to ask. I've got a Venn diagram that I'm going to put up, and it's just a what can you do and what you're willing to do. And that cross section there are your action items. Those are your action items. What can you do? What are you willing to do? Whatever is in that middle part of that Venn diagram, that's what you need to be doing. It's going to look different for everybody. There is no small resistance. Everything is important. You have to do something, though. Sitting on your ass and trying to ignore the problems away doesn't help anybody except Donald Trump. That's it.
Yeah, and I was going to say this. Before we got into the Margarine Taylor Greene suck topic, like the thing, just so we're clear, like I know that it's been reflected in the news a lot. Like Trump posted one thing, I think last Wednesday or Tuesday, where he was like, "Oh, we need to protect our farmers. Now we're not going to be going after the people in the fields." Again, just to be clear, there was a interview and news conference that happened yesterday at 11 a.m. where where ICE and the Trump administration said none of that is true. We are going to target everyone in the fields, at meat packing plants, wherever we feel like showing up. Just because Trump posted that, none of that is true.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder, like, was that to make everyone super comfortable so then they could catch them all again? I don't know.
I mean, that's exactly what. No, you know exactly what it was. It was because people that are Trump supporters were getting upset that the people that their families were hiring to work their farms were getting. So Donald Trump came out and be like, "We're not doing this. We're not going after them." And they're like, "See, we told you." And then they show up anyway, and they're like, "But wait. Now my brain is exploding because Donald Trump said this isn't going to happen, and now it's happening, and I don't know how to think for myself or what to do." That's the whole point of that tweet. That's the whole point of that tweet.
Rich. It's the divide we were talking about on the No New Wars, right?
Yeah.
There are the very rich conservatives who are like, "Wait a minute, I thought I could bribe you and you would leave my business alone."
Right.
And then there's like the true MAGA who are like, "We got to get these brown people out of here. I'm a racist." And so if you want to read more about what I'm talking about the official reversal that has been confirmed by a lot of journalists, this is a Washington Post article from yesterday at 6:43 p.m. It says, "Trump officials reverse guidance exempting farms and hotels from immigration raids."
Yeah. Somebody asked one of the other commenters to name one constitutional right that has been violated or something. Due process. That was too easy. Come up with something.
You can ask AI and a whole list will come up. You don't need us. Like just ask AI, which
I mean, I can help you out. It's 2 words, due process.
I think the Washington Post is also like they have a running tracker of them too that you can just follow and keep the link, and as it updates, you can check.
Yeah. Sorry. I have to correct you here. It's not AI. It's A1.
It's A1
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you, Courtney,
I got confused.
Thank you, Courtney, for correcting us on that. We don't want to spread misinformation up here. And if the Secretary of Education says that it's A1, she would know. So she would know. That's A1. So yeah, I know the Catholic bishops of the United States have put out a statement saying that starting next week, they're going to start sending priests with the immigrant community that are going to their immigration hearings. So I can't wait for the pictures of priests also being arrested, escorting people to and from their hearings.
They're tackling them in the hallways, like whoever it is. I'm sure Brad Lander was tackled. Like there's videos you can see of whoever is trying to get these people out of the hearings. However they try, they're being tackled. So yeah, let's do.
Yeah.
I've long thought this is why there's an American Pope. They're like, you've created this monster. Now you could. Offset this problem. Let's elect an American Pope, and you guys can all take moral, ethical responsibility for this.
Felice, I need to go pick up my kid. I'm going to give you the control over the live for the next 10 minutes, and then I'll be back. All right?
Okay, this is a big responsibility. Good, because I do want to... No, this is perfect. You go away, and then I'm going to...
I'm going to go away, and I'll be back.
Yeah, no, I got this. I got it.
The big
you
screen?
Can trust me.
Hold on. I'll give you the big screen.
Oh, okay. I thought this... Isn't this big enough? Like, I get anxiety.
Okay. I'll leave you there. Okay. All right. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. Good luck. Be safe. Okay. His kid finished a test. He needs to go pick him up. we knew this was probably going to happen. And I just want to say this, like, I am never meaning to over talk anyone, but I just want everyone to recognize, like, as a woman, if I interrupted every man who ever speaks for the rest of my life, I would never interrupt as many times as I've been shut down, or my ideas have been stolen in a conference room in corporate America, or I've been silenced, or I was supposed to smile and not speak. So especially, like, I have almost a photographic memory. It's not that I'm trying to over talk people, it's that I have all of this, like, anxiety inside me, and I have all this information, and I'm just, like, itching to say it. So when I see especially women in the comments literally shitting on me as another woman, saying, like, shut up. Like, imagine being a woman on the left and telling other women to shut up. Like, I lack information. That's one thing I know is not true. I literally almost have a photographic memory. If I could just download into people's brains everything I read, we'd have no problem. But yeah, it's not coming from, like, oh, I'm trying to be rude. It's just, I've had a lot of experiences, and I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and I've had a lot of experiences where I was not allowed to speak. So then I was just like, I'm never not going to speak again. Oh yeah, no, it's just when you think I don't see, like, I literally have a photographic memory. Like, I know every person that just talks shit about me in the comments. I wish I didn't see it. I wish my brain didn't work like that and take these pictures, and then I could think, like, oh, that's really weird as a woman to tell another woman to shut up. So imagine doing that over and over, like, and never doing it to a man. I have never been in a live, because of the way my memory works, I see everything in, like, patterns, and I never see anyone saying, oh, a man should stop over talking a woman. Like, that is something, like, we all need to deconstruct within ourselves. Like, why should I be submissive and quiet? Why? Yeah, you guys have Matt, like, trust me, Matt and I tell each other to shut up all the time. Like, if Matt wants me to shut up, he'll just tell me. But, like, trust me, we have that type of relationship. It's super open. Like, imagine, like, you need to think about it. Like, why? Why should I sit here quiet and not say anything? Why should I be deferential to men? Why? And I have ADHD. Thank you. That's the other thing you need to, I have not just been diagnosed with PTSD, but I have ADHD. Like, I have this pattern I can see in my head, and it's like, I want to say it. And I feel like if I could just say it, then people will understand. And I know I'm not always doing that perfectly, but I don't mean it offensively. And I think, like, sometimes when, for some reason, I notice it's women. Why do you want women to be quiet? Why? It's like you're silencing yourself. And that's something you have to deconstruct within yourself. Like, it's like all I'm trying to do, it's like I'm super passionate. I spend all day, like, taking in so much information to the point where I feel like I want to explode. And then most of the time I do that's why I do my own, the people's receipts is just me, like, showing receipts, because then it is me alone. And when I do lives with men, it seems like I'm supposed to be deferential to men. Well, yeah, if Matt tells me to shut up, I will. It's just, Matt, you just need to know. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say, but let's move on for that, because I do have a million things I need to talk about. I wanted to, stay on this line of logic and talk about this stuff about immigration, about Trump saying, like, last week, like, obviously you got calls from rich billionaires who are like, hey, you're bankrupting me, what am I going to do? Like, which is, and then he's like, oh, we need to be deferential to these people, which if you don't know who the agriculture secretary is in the cabinet, her name is Brooke Rollins. MAGA is now trying to ruin her life on X today. Like, she is being run over because she's the one receiving the calls from, like, the agricultural, like, super rich people. I'm going to read this quote that I highlighted in my outline. MAGA is also furious about Trump and Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins announcing that ICE will not target migrants working farming or the hospitality industry. Rollins got over 4,600 angry replies to this from Trump supporters on X. Quote, ignore the noise from the fake news media and the grifters trying to divide us. The president and I have consistently advanced a farmers first approach. So even though Trump's like, never mind, like we're going to arrest immigrants on farms, she's going ahead yesterday at the same time. Trump's like, never mind. She's like, we're doing a farmers first approach, recognizing that American households depend upon a stable and legal agricultural force. Severe disruptions to our food supply would harm Americans, which it will, and it will make things more expensive. Understand that our food is more expensive because people are terrified to show up to work. Every time food prices rise, part of that has to do with the lack of labor supply in these industries. It took us decades to get into the mess, and we are prioritizing deportations in a way that will get us out. That's Brooke Rollins yesterday saying the opposite of what Trump said in the same day. And you tell me, and I'm just speaking from a capitalistic point of view now, if you are a business owner and you're trying to understand what is the federal government's policy, and in one day you get two different messages, how do you understand how to run a business? It's the same thing with tariffs. Every single day the tariff policy changes. The only way to run a business is with consistent trade policy, consistent immigration policy, and there is no such thing. Okay, I want to read one. That's not what Trump said during the campaign. That's not what Stephen Miller said last week. That's not what Tom Homan has been saying. Taco Trump is caving to some of his big donors who employ migrants. And what has happened, and I'll say this, I'm reading the words of Ron Filipkowski, who's the editor-in-chief of Midas Touch. I think that's his title. But before that, he was just some guy who worked for the Republican Party. He was a defense lawyer in Florida. And I love this man's brain. It's so analytical. And it's true. We are watching Trump try to walk a tightrope, cave to big donors, but then also realize, and this is what he does, he uses his MAGA podcasters as this test group. And what is happening right now on X, I spend all my time on X, don't suggest it for your mental health, but I do, watching what's happening. And the response for MAGA is not good. They're not like, oh yeah, let the immigrants work in hotels and clean hotel rooms, let them pick crops in the fields. They don't feel that way. Here's another example. Right-winger Charlie Kirk, boo, conducted a poll asking his followers if they agreed with Trump's policy to exempt certain migrants from deportations. He got over 140,000 MAGA votes. 79% said they agreed with Trump. Disagree with Trump on this. 140,000 people, that's a huge sample size. Huge for a poll. 140,000 people, 79% said, no, I'd rather go into a famine. Let's go into a recession. I would rather my children not eat than brown people go to work in the fields. That's how racist and bigoted these people are. That's how sad it is and how little they can do math. Our economy depends on the lower, unfortunately, and I didn't invent capitalism and I don't agree with this. I would like a more equitable economy, but as long as we subscribe to capitalism, I was going to say free market capitalism. This is not the free market. That's a lie. As long as we subscribe to capitalism, then the cheapest enslaved labor is what it runs on. And MAGA is so dumb that they're like, hey, I would like to make it so not only can I not retire, I don't want my children to retire. And let's not wait until then. Let's cause a famine where none of us can eat because I'm that racist. But is that, and this is just a question, I always say this on the People's Receipts, I just want to present both sides of the argument. Is it MAGA's fault for feeling that way? Or is it Trump's fault for telling them that they should feel that way? Whose fault is that? MAGA takes every word Trump says as gospel. Like, so in a way, do I believe idiots who can't read or do math? Or, I mean, sorry, not believe. Do I blame them for their feelings? Or do I blame the guy that put those thoughts in their head? When very clearly MAGA, and I know I say this all the time, I'm just going to say it one more time. Poor immigrants making $4 to $7 a day, picking crops in the fields, do not have your money. The people you keep voting to return to power and then to give tax breaks to billionaires and corporations, they have your money. That is who has your money. You're just driving us into a situation where none of us will ever be able to eat again. Oh, yeah. And this, I'm just going to go through a few of these because I think during the parade, the military parade that was absolute garbage, during the parade on his birthday, which was really supposedly about honoring the U.S. Army, there was 101 separate times Trump's face appeared on a Fox broadcast. If you were watching, he was asleep. He was literally asleep for most of those. And here's, in case anyone's concerned about the direction we're going in, if you've read the big shitty bill that's going to rob the poor to give to the rich and give all these poison pills that benefit big oil and gas and disempower clean energy and our shift to clean energy. This is the quote that Trump gave to prove that climate crisis isn't real. This is real. Trump says that the fact it didn't rain during his military parade proves that scientists are wrong about climate change. Quote, they gave it 100% chance it was going to rain like crazy, and it didn't rain at all. So how can they predict 100 years out, 50 years out, 200 years out? They didn't do too well, the weather people. This is for real. This guy has now disproved climate change. Like, yes. And no one ever, I've never seen 100% prediction of rain, but that would be new. But let's keep firing the real people. And again, we are in hurricane season. And I want everyone to note this. This is a man saying climate crisis isn't real, entering one of the forecasted worst hurricane seasons of all time. He said he's going to decide if anyone is worthy of FEMA money or not. So, Florida, you're not even allowed to insure your homes anymore. What little you have to possibly survive hurricane season would have come for FEMA. I just want you to remember, this is Trump's dream, not ours. Oh, and I should find the quote, but another quote I was reading that was super interesting. I can't remember who said it, but someone was, it was an NBC News anchor saying basically, it's super weird that we're focusing on sanctuary cities and target, if Trump wanted to find the most undocumented immigrants, they're in two very specific places, Texas and Florida. Why is ICE not rounding up people at corporations who are actively recruiting? I talk about this all the time. I used to work in advertising. People are they're actively recruiting undocumented immigrants. There's advertising campaigns in Mexico saying, hey, just get here and we've got a job for you. So if Trump is really as racist as he says he is, and this isn't about taking back power and exerting authoritarian power in places that are resisting his idiocy, then why is he not where the two states where the most undocumented immigrants reside, Texas and Florida? Why? I would say next, look into Arkansas. I mean, this is reality. Why? If that's what this is about, if this is about really finding where the undocumented immigrants are, and he's now, understand, when we're waiting outside of immigration court, those people are here legally. They have asylum cases. They're making a case to stay here, right? Those people are in the U.S. legally. I talk about this all the time. I don't want to say I like this think tank, but the math, I've gone through the math and the maths. The Cato Institute, it's a right-wing libertarian crazy think tank, but they get the math, if the math makes sense, the math makes sense. They found, just so we know, because I think MAGA, you should know, that of the people we mailed to that concentration camp, and it's not, I'm not saying they all entered the United States illegally. We just don't have information about a lot, but we know now for sure 50 of those people that are in Secot in El Salvador, they entered the United States 100% legally. They have never committed a crime, and they have been disappeared to a concentration camp. And if no one knows about Secot, just understand they have tried to get Bukele, like the International Criminal Court has been investigating him. His political opponents have come out of there with parts of their brain missing. This is not some, like, if you're under the impression this is some, like, retreat for people, it is not. We have at least 50 people, we can't find information about the rest, that legally were in the United States, were snatched off the streets, have committed no crimes in any country, and have been disappeared to a concentration camp. Because MAGA feels super weird about people with melanin.
Nailed it.
And in closing, Matt's not that bad of a guy, and, just don't tell him I was talking shit about him for the last 20 minutes.
I would hope that is exactly what happened while I was gone.
It was so much shit talking. I was just talking about I don't know what I was talking about. I was going over a lot of things. Immigration, Trump's lies. I was talking about how we've sent 50 people for sure to Secot who are not criminals and entered the United States legally. I was doing a lot of things. I don't know. I was just on a...
Yeah. Yep. It's an absolute nightmare in the United States.
How'd those tests go? How'd your son's test go?
He said he felt good about it, so can't complain, I guess.
Wait, you said it was a history test, right? So cute.
What? No, today was English. English.
Oh, English. Okay.
Yeah, it was like history's tomorrow. Let's see. What else? Did you see that it's being reported that Donald Trump reamed out Pete Hegseth for the flop birthday parade?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was. Yes, I mean, no. What do you mean by reamed out? Like he did it publicly, or you're saying people are reporting that he yelled at him?
People are reporting it that he was yelling.
Yeah, I mean, it was the worst parade ever.
Yeah.
Do we know the total cost of it yet? Was it 20 million or was it 40 million?
No, they said they budgeted 40 something million dollars for it, with 16 million of that being for repairs to roads and infrastructure and shit.
Yeah,
I need to isolate that squeak tank noise, and that's going to be my new cricket noise whenever somebody doesn't answer a question. The squeaky tank.
Oh, that was so. What was that? What the? The guy just holding a drone. I've never been so embarrassed to be American in my life. That was when I went to university in Idaho, I feel like that we did better parades in Idaho. That's we need to.
The whole thing was an absolute fucking embarrassment.
I want to play this clip for you if you want to hear it. This is.
Always.
I told you that this whole segment of weirdness was going on with Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson, shitting on shitting on Trump, and there's this clip of them they're basically saying that there was a meeting at Camp David, which I remember you said you used to play around Camp David, and they are now, I mean, which I think this is probably the smartest thing. I don't know. I think maybe Trump's, my guess is, if you guys don't know who the Ice Maiden is, Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff, they say that she collects scalps, basically, and Elon Musk is gone because of her. Everyone that disappears, they're the Ice Maiden gone. and like has their scalp like in her trophy case. Like Susie Wiles hates dumb people and like problematic people who are idiots, and eventually like once she sets her sights on you, you disappear. That's the rumor. I don't know, you can believe it or not. But so there was this meeting for national security and intelligence, and Tulsi Gabbard was like not there. Like everyone met at Camp David. This is the alleged director of intelligence. She wasn't there. Listen to this is Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, who for some reason think Tulsi Gabbard's brain works, which is fascinating. But I don't know why they think she's smart, but I think it's probably smart she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Why was Tulsi Gabbard not invited to the Camp David meeting all day?
You know why?
Why Tulsi Gabbard still to the American public has said the last public statement is that the program was not back up and running, and now we have from Bibi by himself on Fox by Brent Baer that the thing was 12 to 13 months away. It wasn't this weekend.
I know.
And this is by his own thing, and we also know that it was a decapitation, as we said on Friday. It wasn't just about the nuclear program. It's a decapitation of total leadership. So this is a total regime change, which, by the way, you may have a plan for regime change, is fine, but you got to bring the American people along. Let me go back.
By the way, I said that publicly last week. This is the point of this is regime change. I know everyone involved. I know. I'm telling the truth. I have no weird motive here at all. I don't hate Israel. I'm not.
Plus, you know the players, and you
I know the players personally.
And you know the Iraq situation.
This isn't a regime change effort, and why not just say that? But oh, you're a Holocaust denier for saying that. Well, stop. Let's have a rational conversation about what our aims are here. And maybe you can convince me that we need to support a regime change war in Iran. Tell me how that plays out in a country of 90 million people. Have you thought it through? Do you even care? And the answer is no. We have a economic and political and demographic crisis in Europe because of U.S.-backed, Israel-backed
Syria
wars in the Middle East.
Yeah.
That's what's destroyed Europe, where my ancestors came from. And I spend a lot of time there, and I love European culture, which is Christian culture. And it's destroyed that. And
He's like, I'm a white nationalist. In case anyone ever forgot, Tucker Carlson wants everyone to know he's a white nationalist.
Shocking.
Do you see? I've got to get something racist in at the end.
I got it. Yeah, got to put that. I just got to make sure you all remember. Don't forget. Don't forget.
I hail from European culture, the only culture that we should recognize is America.
Jesus Christ.
You think though? Is it are they doing a coup?
Consent? Oh, I don't know. Do I think that they're? I'm sorry. Sorry, I have to be honest with you. I got distracted by another article.
It's fine. Let's talk about it. Like if only people knew how you might be the only ADHD person that's worse than me. What is it? Tell me. I want to know.
The one that says that Donald Trump will not call Governor Tim Walz after the assassinations in the state over the weekend because it would be a waste of time, is what AP News is reporting.
Can't even.
Yeah. And I just saw that and I was like, this is exactly MAGA. This is exactly who you are, right? This is exactly who you are. You will drag Laken Riley's name across your lips at any given moment to push for, the continuation of these deportations of people. You will continue to drag her name into the political sphere after her parents have asked you to stop. After her parents have asked you to stop, you just continue to do it. But the leader of your cult will not call the governor of the state where one of the state's elected officials and their spouse was assassinated, and another one and their spouse was almost assassinated because it wouldn't be worth it. It would be a waste of time. And their dog. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even what?
Yeah. So like the idiot went in, this psychopath goes into their home assassinates the husband and wife, and then on the way out also takes out the dog.
And I've read so many, me, once I get on something, I can't stop reading about it. First he goes to the state senator's house, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever his name is, the state senator. Do you know that the woman, his wife, put her body over their daughter, and she was like hit with like 8 bullets? Right? Like so I'm not surprised by the reason I'm saying that is I'm not surprised by the dog, because apparently he was spraying bullets at the woman who had her entire body covering their daughter to stop the daughter from being hit. And then apparently pew-pewed the state senator 9 times.
Yep.
And they're still alive. As of now, they're still both alive. Like I think he's in worse shape than she is.
I think they're both, it's being said now that they're both expected to survive, which is insane, which is crazy. But yeah, Donald Trump said,
he didn't call, imagine like, the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, we're talking about someone tried to burn him alive with his children inside of their home.
Yeah.
And Trump would not speak about that or acknowledge that it happened. Someone tried to burn him alive with his family inside his home, and Trump's like, that's no big deal because that was a MAGA person. Now we have an actual someone trying to execute people with a list of other all Democrats, and I've got to be gaslit on X with people who can't read or put together a sentence, a logical sentence saying, "Oh, but he could have been a Democrat."
Right. Let me just read for you Donald Trump's exact quote when asked if he was going to call Governor Walz. He said, "I could call him and say, 'Hi, how you doing?' The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?" Was the exact quote from the President of the United States after 2 elected officials, one assassinated, one attempted, and their spouses. Why waste time? It's a waste of time for the President of the United States to call one of the state governors that he is the president of and express any kind of fucking empathy, any kind of compassion for a horrific act that was perpetrated by a disturbed and ridiculously psychotic individual, right? This absolute, just radicalized Christian nationalist. It was, you can't call him, can't call the governor. It's a waste of time. But why waste time?
Heidi made it brought up. Remember, like, think about it. This is the same man who's like, I might pardon the people who kidnapped Gretchen Whitmer. Right? Think about who this man is.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm toying around with the idea of pardoning the people who kidnapped the governor of Michigan.
Yeah. Exactly. And he pardoned every single one of the January 6th insurrectionists. Every single one of them. People that beat cops to death on the steps of the Capitol. Pardon them. Every single one of them got a pardon. But he can't even be bothered to show any kind of emotion, empathy, or compassion about 2 individuals and their families being decimated over the weekend. If there was ever a time to say fuck Donald Trump, I mean, I don't understand.
There have
Where's
been
the
many
Christians?
times. Like, it's a never-ending time. But
Yeah, but
MAGA
where are
doesn't-
the Christians?
Well, no, because I just read some comment. Wait, hold on. There was just some very brave gentleman in the comments saying something horrible. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. All these people that you're brave enough, just request and let's talk. Yeah, share your feelings. I keep reading so many, sorry, I have like a photographic memory. I keep reading so many horrible, brave comments people are making. But do remember when Trump was almost pew-pewed, Biden shut everything down.
Yeah.
And immediately addressed it, and all for 48 hours on Fox News. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Mm-hmm. You have to acknowledge, if your brain works, which MAGA, yours don't seem to, so that's fine, that there is a complete hypocrisy here. Yep. Complete and utter hypocrisy between what you expect of Democrats and what you expect of some weird guy who won't stop putting up on makeup and saying men shouldn't wear makeup.
It's because Donald Trump is a fucking god to them. They literally put Donald Trump above every other person, place, or thing that has ever interacted in their life. He can do no wrong. None. He's sinless. He's sinless. He can do no wrong. None. And that's why Donald Trump will continue to get pass after pass after pass after pass for what he does and says, because all of these people worship at the feet of Donald Trump. It's literally, I'm tired of like beating around the bush about this. You all bend the knee and pray at the feet of Donald Trump. He can do no wrong in your eyes. None. He can do no wrong. He will never do anything wrong. He's God's chosen, according to you. And I know we don't think that. Yes, you do. Because a Christian, somebody who follows the teachings of Jesus Christ, would say a president of the United States not even being willing to get on a phone call to express condolences and empathy over a tragedy is textbook anti-Christian. It's textbook. You cannot, and that's why I say there is absolutely nothing that he can do or say that will cause anybody that's still walking around in their red hats or with their Trump Rambo flags or their POWJ6 flags or whatnot. There is absolutely nothing that he can do or say that will cause these people to be like, you know what? Maybe this was a step too far. There's nothing. Nothing. And again, all of you anti-war MAGA guys out there is like, well, there were no new wars under Donald Trump, and if he gets in office, all this stuff's going to end. We are literally flirting with the start of World War III. And what did Donald Trump send out on Temu Twitter? That Iran cannot have nuclear weapons and Tehran should be evacuated. How is that not inflammatory? How is that not just continuing to stoke the flames of war between Iran and Israel, all for the purpose of drawing us into it because Donald Trump wants to be remembered as this wartime president? He never actually had the nuts to get up and serve himself, but he is more than willing to send our sons and daughters to go and fight and die for yet another pointless war in the Middle East. We can't.
Mark, why don't you request and have the conversation instead of typing incoherent things? Like Mark said, Do you really think that's true? Yeah, we do. But more importantly, he said, wait, I'm sorry. I want to ask you this question that Mark's brain spit out, because it is truly asinine. Mark, I don't see you in the request box. Why aren't you requesting? Because people seem to have question for you. You said that he can do no wrong in your eyes. Can he do any right?
Sure. He could.
We're waiting for that. Why don't you make the case, Mark? Come up here and tell us what he's done right. What is it? What has Trump done to benefit the average American? Not billionaires, not you're temporarily embarrassed, like one day, like when you have money, somehow like the tax policy will benefit you, not delusions of grandeur. What has he done to benefit any of us? What?
Mark, I'm not going to have this conversation in the chat. If you want to request to come up, I just muted you, but I know you're still here. So you can request to come up.
A big boy, you can do it. You can do it.
If not, you can just sit
Don't
there.
even have to turn your camera on, but you can. And that goes for all of MAGA.
But, I
you
mean,
can do it. You have all these big ideas and big feelings.
This is what I'm saying.
You can request and use your voice, use your words, and defend your position.
Donald Trump on Temu Twitter said Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign after pulling out of the deal that was already putting restrictions on them enriching uranium to weapons grade levels, right? Pulled us out of that because it didn't have his name on it, because all Donald Trump cares about is his fucking ego. That's it. All right. He says Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. This is 100% the President of the United States antagonizing the government of Iran to say everything that is about to happen to you is your fault. Everything that is about to happen to you is justified. You should have signed the deal that I told you to sign. I know you already had a deal going. And was that deal perfect? Nope. But was it better than what we have right now, which is nothing? Yes. And instead of trying to be the calmer head, instead of trying to be a diplomatic presence, he's sending out on his own social media platform that Tehran should immediately be evacuated.
You read some of the, listen to the 2 hours ago. We now have complete and total control over the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defense equipment and plenty of it. No, they didn't. But it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured quote-unquote stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old US of A. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. I told you, did I not call this is because they were going to unalive him, right? So just understand, no new wars. Trump not only went behind your back, he's engineering a war. While he lied to MAGA and said he wants peace. Like, you have been pathologically lied to. You got. The war machine is churning, right? Here come the Raytheon contracts. And you guys are still sitting here in the comments being like, oh, Trump's a good guy. Like, do you have anything good to say about him? Why is that guy not requesting? I'm still so confused why all the weirdo, impotent men in the comments have not pushed the button to speak out loud.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you know who's really excited about this? Raytheon. Lockheed Martin.
One of my closest friends works for
Halliburton.
Raytheon and is a drone engineer.
Yeah, they're real excited about what's happening right now, because you know what's about to start kicking up a shit ton. Let me just put this into perspective for you. There is a $1 trillion defense budget on the table right now, and the United States is not at war. Not at war. Can you imagine how much we are going to spend when we get dragged into this ridiculous fucking dick swinging contest in the Middle East? Because the military industrial complex is going to have to really start ramping up production. We need those F-35s fucking quick. Let's fucking go. You think $1 trillion defense budget is a lot? Just fucking wait. Just fucking wait. You might as well just start doubling that shit right now.
It's gotta be one of you MAGA idiots that wants to speak out loud and defend your supreme leader. Truly. You have to be able, you've got to have something. I mean, what is it? How does No New Wars Trump, who is literally orchestrating World War III while we all watch, go ahead. What is it? You've got to have something. There's not one of you whose brain is firing right now and can come up with something. Nothing. Of course not.
This whole thing is literally just Donald Trump's ego. He wants to be a wartime president. He wants to play war because he's too much of a chicken shit coward to do it himself. But he's more than happy to send our sons and daughters back over to the Middle East. He's more than happy to do it. He's not sending his kids. He's not sending Barron. Barron isn't going. Barron Trump is not going to be over there fighting. You know who is going to be over there fighting? Every single kid that is of relation to somebody in this live right now, they'll get called up. They'll get called up. Donald Trump isn't losing anything on this. He's gaining everything. Donald Trump doesn't lose shit by sending all of us to go and die again in the Middle East. Period. You know what? Congressional amendment proposal. The President of the United States cannot declare war or get the United States into conflict unless he is willing to send his children to the front lines. Unless they are willing to send their children to the front lines. If you're not willing to send your own fucking kids, stop asking us to send ours. Period. This idea that the President of the United States gets to just drag us into fucking conflicts around the fucking globe because it's not going to negatively affect him. Fuck that shit. Constitutional amendment on the table right now. President of the United States cannot send the military into any conflict zone moving forward unless their children are on the front lines also. I'm tired of the rich in this country getting rich off of the blood and sacrifice of the poor in this country under the guise of fucking patriotism. I'm so fucking tired of it. I am so fucking tired. This isn't patriotism. This isn't American exceptionalism. This is capitalist bullshit to make themselves richer at our expense. Not your expense, not my expense, our expense. It's not the rich that are going and fighting these wars. It's not the rich that are sending their kids over. It's not the powerful that are on the front lines. It's people that are looking for a way to escape whatever impoverished area they're in. Or maybe they've got a family legacy of joining the military and felt some call to fucking duty to go and do it. But not a single one of those people are affluent, fucking well-off, rich motherfuckers. Every single one of us that make up the infantry in the United States military come from poor, disenfranchised neighborhoods that are sent over to spill our blood for shit that we will never, ever be allowed to take advantage of.
Not to just point out patterns. This is a guy, because MAGA, I'm just pointing out how dumb you all are. This is a guy who 1 week ago said he was negotiating a nuclear deal with Iran, right? And now his last post is, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy, oh wait, sorry, that's not the unconditional surrender. This is a guy who's now inciting war, literally screaming to incite war when he was so-called negotiating a nuclear deal with Iran while Israel prepared these attacks. Like, use your, I know you can do it. You can figure it out. You can use your brain. You can do it. You can get there. You can make the connection that he's a pathological liar. And it's so weird how you guys are all at work, except for you're all chatting in the comments saying incoherent, dumb things. And then when someone's like, why won't one of you get up the courage to explain this to us? And all of us, you're all super busy.
This country knows how to do one thing very well. One thing and one thing only. Very, very well. And that is send our young and our poor to die for wars to make rich people more rich. We can't figure out how to provide health care for our citizens. We can't figure out how to provide education for our citizens. We can't figure out how to feed our citizens. We can't figure out how to house our citizens, but we can. Goddamn. We know how to send y'all overseas to fight and die for the interests of the billionaire class. We know how to do that real fucking well. We can do that. We got that shit down to an art. You want to know why we're the richest nation in the history of the world? Do you want to know why? It's because instead of investing in our citizens in this country, the top 1% hoard all of the wealth at the expense of all of us that go and fight their wars. That's why we are the richest nation in the history of the world. That's why. And it's on the backs and it's by the blood of the poor and the young in this country. Period. And you know what? Even if we make it back, even if we make it back from whatever conflict they tell us that we have to go fight in, or we're not real Americans, we've got a better chance of taking our own lives when we get back here in the States because they refuse to provide the care that they promised us when we get back. This country
just cutting
is really
all that,
good.
yeah. You guys can't go to the doctor or get the mental health care you need. And you know what's funny is yesterday when I saw Tim Kaine introduced a bill in the Senate to curb Trump's power to go to a war with Iran. And even yesterday, like, Trump was still delusionally, and now you see it. This whole thing was some weird kabuki theater act that he was trying. Oh, well, I put a deal on the table and they didn't accept. This is all a lie.
No, it is.
And now you see it. And MAGA's like, cannot even figure out what's going on. MAGA's like, wait, what? What?
Yeah. I didn't vote for this. Yes, you did.
No new wars.
Do you know why? Do you know why you voted for this? Because there were people like myself and Felice, Facts Don't Matter and Jolly Good Ginger and Adam Cray and all these other leftist creators out here saying that if Donald Trump won the presidency, this was going to fucking happen. It was not a secret. They were telling you what they were going to do. They told you. They said that this was the plan. And you all said, nah, that's not the plan. You did exactly what we continue to say you're doing today. And that is you hold your jobs real fucking serious about explaining to me what Donald Trump actually meant when he says words. Somebody come up here and explain to me what he meant by Tehran should be evacuated immediately. Because clearly I don't know how to read words. And I don't understand them when they come out of the face of a wannabe dictator. Apparently, I have to be in the Kool-Aid drinking club to understand what he means. So someone come and explain to me what he means by that. Crickets is where I wish I had that squeaky tank noise.
Why isn't anyone requesting? MAGA, I don't understand. You guys have so many things to say that make no sense in the comment. Why doesn't anyone want to talk about this?
This whole thing is just, again, I'm just going to keep saying it. We are on the brink of war with Iran. We are on the brink of war with Iran. And the only people that are excited about it is Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Halliburton, KBR, all these defense contractors that are out there. They're salivating right now because all they see is dollar signs. All they see is dollar signs. I'm looking at this as we are about to lose so many fucking people. So many fucking people. The defense contractors are salivating because they will never be more rich than they are after this happens. They'll never be richer. They just won't. We are literally sending, we are on the verge of sending our young men and women, theys and thems, well, maybe not them because Pete Hegseth is wanting to get them out. So, hey, count your fucking blessings, I guess, right? Count your fucking blessings if you're a part of the queer community being forced out of the military. At least now you don't have to go die in fucking Iran. Count your blessings, right?
You know what the best part is? Just like Netanyahu, Trump, if there's a war, Trump can stay as president forever. Like, I mean, MAGA, it's like you can't find your nose that's attached to your face, let alone bless your hearts.
Mm-hmm. We are literally on the who is nickname?
Ken, do you want to come up here? You're saying things that aren't very smart. You're welcome up here to embarrass yourself publicly.
Oh, that was an accident. I didn't mean to come up here. I'm a friendly. Sorry.
No worries. I was like, I'm pretty sure nicknames are friendly, so I was like,
I am. Sorry.
Okay. I appreciate you, bud. Have a good one. I was like, I think I've talked to nickname before. Like they're friendly. What's going on? Yeah, I'm so fucking angry about this. We literally just got out of a 20-year quagmire in Afghanistan. 20 fucking years. 20 fucking years. And we are on the verge of being like, you know what? That wasn't bloody enough. Let's up the stakes. Let's up it. Let's just fuel the flames of war. Make all of these defense contractors that are already obscenely wealthy even more money and lose more American men and women, because God, that's what patriots do, man. That's what patriots do.
I'll try really quick to just explain how this works economically. Like, you know how MAGA, you're always like, we're number one. You're not number one in anything. You have nothing. You have zero things. You can't even go to the doctor. You can't send your children to a doctor without selling your life force to a corporation for the right to healthcare. That happens in no other developed countries in the world. And then you're thinking, oh yeah, as long as we're number one, right? Number one gross domestic product. That has something to do with me, right? It does. What does it have to do with you? Nothing. All it has to do is transfers of wealth from the lower and middle class to the top of the economy. All of that is held in capital gains, unrealized and realized capital gains at the top of the economy, right? And as long as that is taxed at a lower rate than our income, money will continue transferring up there. And now I see it so very clearly. War is just an accelerator of transfers of wealth to the top of the economy.
Yep. This
are being robbed, and then your children are sent to die. And you guys are like, Trump's amazing, does his makeup every morning, looks so good, like he's such a great guy. You are being robbed, and your children are being sent to unalive, and you guys are cheering it on.
Yep.
And even if they avoid war and they don't go to the Middle East to unalive, then they will have nothing. Do you know the average age of a home buyer in the U.S. used to be like 22? It's 41 now. Yep. They will be able to consolidate no wealth. They will have no health insurance. They will have no future because your guys' brains don't work. And someone asked me, is Felice always so mean? Yeah, when it comes to children, I'm a second grade teacher. I came from advertising my last career, but I used to be a second grade teacher. And when I picture little children's futures being decimated because of bigots who would refuse to read or do basic math, yeah, it does make me upset. It incites my rage. Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Your cost of living is going to go down because all your kids are going to go die in a war. So you want to feed them. It's what you voted for. It's what you fucking voted for. That stung, didn't it? Nah, I didn't like that. You haven't seen it. You haven't been there. You don't know. You don't know. That shit, listen, getting shot at.
Can you send a request to Diamond Dave? Diamond Dave is getting brave in the Diamond Dave, let's just talk about it publicly. What are you talking about? Let's talk about whatever you think point you made. I cannot stand somebody request which one of you is the smartest, whose brain's working the best today. One of you MAGA, come up and explain yourselves. I see all of you super brave in the comments. Explain it to us. What was that? Cindy. 12 of the last 16 years Democrats were in control. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about who paid down the deficit. Let's talk about who blew it out.
Truckers are friendly. Hi, Trucker. How are you?
Oh, I know him.
Oh, yeah, okay. I just got a question for you, man, because I've been watching this shit too. You know I'm going to pay attention to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you think, though, with Trump's affinity for button pushing and shit, do you think there would be more so boots on the ground or a lot of air attacks like drones and
it's going to be both
bombers?
Trump,
I'm not saying that there wouldn't be boots on the ground. I'm just asking you because of your combat experience and where we are technologically. Do you think he would have a hard on for sending drones and rather to keep him out of the bad light of what you're doing right here, shedding that light on him?
No, I don't think he gives two shits about that. Donald Trump is your typical glory hound that is just looking to write his legacy in history, and the only way that that's happened in the past is by putting boots on the ground. Because Donald Trump is an insecure fucking moron that doesn't understand that technology could make things safer for American military service members, but he doesn't know that, and he's got Pete Hegseth in control of the control of the Department of Defense. No, they would have boots on the ground.
No, I see what you're. I get you. I do. And I just wanted to give you a quick props for. I saw your video on the people who were desecrating the POW flag.
Oh yeah.
Kudos to you for that. I loved what you did. And then you don't have to keep me up. I know you went up, so I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on technological as opposed to actual boots on the ground, and which would outweigh.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that there will be people that'll be like, we don't need boots on the ground, but he's going to be like, but there's going to be cameras there, and we're going to see troops running across the desert again, and that's what I want to see.
Right. Well, you can drop me. I just wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on it.
It's nice to talk to you, by the way. I haven't talked to you in forever.
I haven't seen you in a long time, Felice.
I know. It's really nice to see you. So it's super weird. I feel like we're having a reunion.
Well, it's kind of. I haven't talked to Matt for a while.
I know. It's been a minute, dude. It's been a minute.
We're still around. Rebel and I are still around fighting the fight.
Good. Y'all keep your heads down and stay safe out there.
Yeah.
It's getting fucking crazy.
Thanks for giving me a few minutes on your live, bro.
Of course, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep, you too. And see you, Felicia. Felice. I can't.
It's okay.
I'm an old man.
All of the above.
Give me a break. I'm an old man, okay?
We got you. All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
I answer to Felicia. 100%.
Yeah. It's... No, Sharky in the Discord here is absolutely right. Donald Trump won't be satisfied until troops raise the American flag over Tehran like some fucking 21st century Iwo Jima. I mean, that's what he wants. That's what he fucking wants. And there's not a single fucking one of you that will be able to convince me otherwise. There's not a single fucking one of you.
Of course not. Like, I just can't stress this enough. Like, I just see the world in patterns. And when someone makes a malignant narcissist feel unsafe, the only answer is to then do what's happening now.
Yeah.
Iran was attempting to unalive Trump for a couple years, and this is the response to that. And it's not that they were making the rest of America unsafe, or this needs to happen to destabilize our economy. This is just a malignant narcissist saying, you made me feel insecure, now I'm going to make you feel insecure. And the rest of us are going to be dragged into this because someone felt insecure.
Yeah. Donald Trump is an insecure fucking wannabe dictator who admires Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping and the way that they have a stranglehold on their fucking countries and can do whatever the hell they want, whenever the hell they want. That's what he likes. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. So Benjamin Netanyahu lobbing missiles towards Iran and then Iran lobbing missiles back towards Israel. This is just playing into the ego of Donald Trump. Because now he's got the justification that he needs to be like, I'm going to start sending out these tweets. I'm going to start sending out these Timu tweets talking about everybody should evacuate Tehran right now. Why? What's coming? Quit fucking playing this like it's a goddamn reality TV show, which is literally the only thing that you know how to do, right? Quit playing this like a reality TV show and leaving people on fucking cliffhangers as the president of the United States, and just say the fucking thing. Just say the fucking thing.
Someone said, who has Iran's back, or other, you know what I mean, other than Putin? No, that's not what it is. I mean, think about what we did to Iraq. I mean, this has happened once before, right? I just would invite everyone to notice that, where we started accusing another Middle Eastern country that had nothing to do with anything, right? Nothing to do with anything. We started accusing them of having WMDs. All of a sudden, we bulldozed their country and hung the person who was in charge of it. And nothing we ever accused them of was necessarily true. Now, were they committed crimes against humanity? Sure. We're doing that in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right
We're
now,
doing that right now.
we've got that going on. We're sending people to concentration camps to die. So we are also committing those same crimes. So I'm not saying like things are great in the Middle East, but yeah, I mean, we've done this once before. Shine a light on someone, start implying they're enriching uranium, even though all intelligence reports show they're using that for nuclear power and have never started trying to turn that into a weapon. And I mean, worldwide intelligence reports, including Tulsi Gabbard, have shown none of that is happening. All of a sudden, all you're hearing is all of this drumbeat of it's happening, it's happening. The IDF, and I won't play the videos on my live. I was talking last Friday. I was like, just know these videos are proliferating across X. The IDF saying that they have a nuclear weapon. They don't. It's not true, just like it wasn't true with Iraq, but this is the drumbeat that happens before we bulldoze this country.
Who was that just said that? Jeffrey 13. Come here.
Jeff, you can do it.
I sent you an invite, Jeff. You had some stuff you wanted to say about our competence or something. I briefly read your shit. So come on up.
Just one of you? There's not one MAGA. You guys are all lurking around saying dumb things. Not one of you has the guts to just explain it out loud. This is very telling. I just want to say I am a person whose brain only sees numbers. Like, not one of you can articulate your thoughts out loud. Not one.
Yeah.
There's 1,100 people in here. I can literally clock the number of idiotic comments I see, and not one of you. You're all underneath a car working. A car's about to follow me. Yeah, we got it. Like, you can do it, Jeffrey. I mean, you're so brave. You're so brave with your finger. You can do it, Jeffrey. You can speak out loud. Every single thing that Trump promised you is a lie. And if you want to just take me through one by one how every single thing this man ran on did not turn out to be a lie, go ahead and tell me what that is. What is not a lie that Trump said? Name them one by one. That's what I'm asking. It's super simple. Trump is a prolific liar who's driving us in. No new wars, Trump. No one would ever dare attack anyone else because I'm just such a man. I put makeup on every morning. I'm such a giant. I'm so masculine. I'm so formidable that no one would ever start a war while I sit here. I certainly would not benefit from it financially while everyone watched.
Hey, how quickly has he put new sanctions on Russia? Oh, he hasn't. But he has
tariffs on every country but the one invading sovereign.
Yeah. He's eased sanctions on Russia. That's weird.
Lost track of the children he stole from Ukraine just to make it easier for.
Yeah.
Not one person has a thought, MAGA. You don't have one cogent thought that you can say out loud? No one?
Nope. I'm not waiting around forever for these idiots.
No, I know, but it is fascinating. I just want to point out, just let the record show that not one of you can put together a cognizant line of logic. I wouldn't either. I would not come up here. I just want to be clear. I would not come up here and say anything. So I think you're just proving my point, though.
Yep. Every single one of them.
That was a good one. Bobby's brain is not working. Laughing my ass off. The poster children for TDS. Trump is our president. Nobody is disputing that fact, Bobby. Thank you for stating the obvious. That is what we are concerned about. We are asking you to expound on that and explain why every single thing that Trump ran on is not coming true. That's what we're asking you to talk about, Bobby. We're not asking you to state things everyone agrees upon already. Like you guys can't all be this. It can't be this bad. I'm scared for the. I'm so scared. We have to. Trump was so right. He said, if I ever run for president, I'm moving right because that's where the idiots are who will believe anything. Like, I mean, and he look at where we are now. These people have Trump derangement syndrome. If by that you mean that I am really tuned in with primary sources, I read court documents and the congressional record, and I understand what's going on, and I can correctly follow a line of logic and have every right to be concerned with what I see happening, then yes.
Yeah, Sharky brings up a good point. Nobody cares about Ukrainian children going missing. We've got migrant children being stolen from their parents here in the United States. So, who cares? Who cares about kids?
Like, this is, I know, there's no point because once these idiots, your brains didn't work before cognitive dissonance. Now. So it's not going to mean anything. But imagine how dumb you have to be. And I mean this genuinely. And this is the nicest I can say it. People are like, why are you so angry? No, I don't know how to say it nicer. Mm-hmm. Imagine how dumb you have to be to think that every time someone lies, and is proven to be a pathological liar, you believe that the answer is a fake diagnosis that the pathological liar himself made up as an answer to why in the future he was going to continue pathologically lying, and people may point out that he's a liar, and he literally was like, I'll just come up with 3 letters that these idiots can just repeat at people when they're faced with reality. Mm-hmm. And you think that is a response to reality. Like,
Yep.
Someone is an idiot. I promise you it's not me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, listen, this whole thing is going to spiral quick because Donald Trump's not going to do anything to calm the tension or ease the tension. I mean, he's going to. Oh wait, what was that? Shit.
Scared to refresh my computer. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't even want to. No, I just got like 4 more like notifications. I'm like, I don't want to know what's going on.
Let me see here. I saw something.
Wants this. It's very obvious. Trump only works for one group of people. That's people who bribe him with money. MAGA, it is mind-boggling that you would want to live in a society where if you have $5 million, it doesn't matter if you're a rapist, an unaliver, a shitbag, a fraud, whoever, you can come to this country. If you can bribe the president of the United States, doesn't matter how horrible of a person you are, you're not a criminal, and you want to live in a society, MAGA, where the majority of you don't have a fucking dime to your name, and you want to live in a society that is ordered by how much money you have. And I'm not speaking for myself. Like, I've recently started a small business. I don't have money. I'm saying the average leftist has many more assets than you. They're much more educated. Like, you will be and it's fascinating to watch. While being in a cult, you somehow believe the guy that is stealing from you, literally breaking into your homes and stealing from you, is also somehow protecting you. Why does he keep dispossessing you of your assets? Why? Why are there transfers of wealth going to the top of the economy? If he loves you so much and cares about you, why would he take health care away from your children? Why?
Do you remember the Dow chemical plant explosion in 2023 down in Louisiana? Yeah. You remember how for like a year now, the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board has been looking into that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Donald Trump is shutting that board down.
Yeah, that's the point. If you have money, you can go to low income areas in red states and you can pollute. You can poison people with pollution. Oh, yeah, of course. But MAGA's into that. They want their children to get cancer from environmental terrorism. That's what they want. But you would have to read to figure out that that's happening. So.
Yep. This is what I saw. Trump considers strike on Iran ahead of crucial Situation Room meeting. President Trump will meet with his national security team in the White House Situation Room at 1 p.m. today, so about 2 hours ago, to make decisions about U.S. policy towards the war between Israel and Iran, 3 U.S. officials tell Axios. The U.S. officials said Trump is seriously considering joining the war and launching a U.S. strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, especially its underground uranium enrichment facility in Fordow. Trump returned early from the G7 summit to focus on Iran, telling reporters on Air Force One overnight that he wasn't interested in a ceasefire, but a real end to the war and to Iran's nuclear program. The White House has discussed the idea of meeting directly with the Iranians this week, but Trump said that would depend on what happens when I get back to Washington. 2 Israeli officials told Axios that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli defense establishment continue to believe that Trump is likely to enter the war in the coming days to bomb Iran's underground enrichment facility. So far, the U.S. has helped Israel defend itself from incoming missiles, but declined to take part in offensive operations. Amid growing signs that the U.S. could strike Iran, Vice President J.D. Vance pushed back against criticism from prominent MAGA voices about Trump getting involved in the war. The president has shown remarkable restraint in keeping our military's focus on protecting our troops and protecting our citizens, Vance wrote in a lengthy X post, stressing Trump's consistency on the Iran nuclear issue. He may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. Trump himself signaled his thinking in a series of belligerent posts on Truth Social ahead of the Situation Room meeting. We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. Iran had a good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American made. A few moments later, he warned Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei against targeting U.S. forces in the Middle East. We know exactly where the so-called Supreme Leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin, Trump wrote. In a third post in less than an hour, Trump wrote, unconditional surrender. We're going to war, guys. We're going to war. Okay? Like, resign yourself to the fact that we are now, and here's why this is a big deal. All right. Do you know who is allied with Iran at the moment? Pakistan, Russia, China. That's the big 3. You want to know what's real interesting about those big 3? They're all nuclear powers. They're all nuclear powers. All right. I need you all to understand how unbelievably serious this situation is. This situation right now would be a difficult thing to calm tensions with the best negotiator and diplomat that we had. But we have Donald Trump. So prepare yourselves, okay? Prepare yourselves. We're going to war. Okay? This is kicking it off. I will be completely surprised if we are not directly involved in this conflict in the next 2 days. If there aren't Tomahawk missiles being launched from destroyers and aircraft carriers launching long-range bombers and everything in the Mediterranean Sea, I will be completely surprised if that is not happening in the next 2 days.
Matt, they might just slide into the ocean and sink to the floor and become we don't know that, Matt.
That would be safer.
A lot of the F-18s are just falling off the aircraft carriers. And have you not heard about this? Like waste, fraud, and abuse. We've now had several things just fall off aircraft carriers in the Red Sea, and just now there'll be a coral reef. Hundreds of millions F-18s will now just form a coral reef because they just fell off an aircraft carrier. So yes, that's if we can manage to get something off an aircraft carrier that doesn't just slip into the ocean and sink to the bottom.
Yeah. You all need to be prepared for this. And for all you MAGA fucks that are out there, this is what you voted for. This is legitimately what you voted for. You voted for this moment. This right here. This is what you voted for. You voted for Donald Trump, the this egomaniac, right?
Like doing a combination between megalomaniac I like that. Keep going. Let's do that.
This wannabe fucking dictator, glory hound, fucking medal chasing piece of shit is going to send every single person that he can to fight another war in his name. And it's going to be our kids that get swept up in this shit. Barron Trump is not going anywhere. Barron Trump will not be on the front lines. Your kids will. Elon Musk's kids will not be on the front lines. Your kids will. Don Jr.'s kids, Eric's kids, Ivanka's kids, they won't be on the front lines. Your kids will. Your kids will. Remember that. This is what you voted for. This is the future that you wanted for your children. This is the future you wanted, MAGA. This is what you wanted. You wanted the United States of America pulled back into an indefinite, ridiculous conflict in the Middle East because Donald Trump is a fucking loser who couldn't fight the first time he was asked. And now he's willing to he is literally tall, fat Lord Farquaad. Many of you will die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
I'm sorry. I was born and raised in Arizona, and then real war heroes like John McCain, he's having their names scratched off the side of ships.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where we're at. All right? This is where we're at. And this isn't even the only fucking terrible thing happening. You want to know how fucked up the world is right now? We've got Donald Trump pulling us into the fucking another conflict in the Middle East while also sending our military to detain American citizens in our own fucking cities. His director of Homeland Security said that they are going to continue to liberate these cities from the socialists. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted, MAGA. You wanted the United States military deployed on our own soil against our own citizens for people that you disagree with. Because what? The radical left wanted everybody to be able to go see a fucking doctor? Or maybe for kids not to starve to death over the summer because they can't get fucking food? Or maybe school lunch debt is a really fucking stupid thing that exists and maybe it shouldn't? Yeah, radical. Fucking socialist. You know what those kids need to be doing is going over to Iran and fighting in another 20-year fucking quagmire war for the elite military industrial complex. That's how you become a patriot. Fucking 13-year-old who's just looking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know who's got peanut butter and jelly? The United States Marine Corps. Get your ass down to a fucking recruiting office and sign up because we're going to need fucking blood for the machine and yours is good enough. Let's fucking go.
I know it's not worth explaining, but I'm just going to try as a former teacher. Like, you know, when we just understand that Social Security and Medicare, it's something that is dynamic, right? Like what we're paying in taxes today is being used for the boomers now. So when you deny school lunch to children who are in school now, you're saying, I want to limit the upward mobility and the lifetime earning of the people whose taxes will be collected so that I can retire. That's how I know, MAGA, your brains don't work, because that's what you're doing. We know, and I encourage anyone to look this up. Look up studies about just denying a child Head Start, denying a child access to pre-K will limit their lifetime earnings by thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's those lifetime earnings that are going to allow us to retire. You are crippling and limiting the tax revenue that will be collected so we can retire. If we are not willing to invest in children, who are you willing? Who's worthy of our investment? Who's worthy of our time? That's what you have to ask yourself. And now you're basically saying everything Trump promised is very clearly a lie. We're gearing up for a war that only will benefit the rich. Here comes the war machine churning, right? This isn't socialism. If this was a socialist country, we'd all benefit from the war machine. Maybe from the profits of the war machine, we could all have universal health care. That would be socialism. Hey, we're about to go to war and we'll all share in the profits. We will get not a dime except for our children will be irreparably damaged from it. And then when they need to go to the doctor later and they have mental health problems, we'll say, there's no money for that.
Yep. Sorry. We've got trillions of dollars to fuck you up, but no money to care for you when you get back. Yeah. We're not going to raise the minimum wage. You know why? Because we need your ass in the military. Get your ass in the fucking military where there's a universal basic income for everybody that's there. Fucking crazy. Crazy. Get your ass in the fucking military. Put on a goddamn uniform, pick up a fucking gun, and go fight for these rich fucks that don't want to go and do it themselves. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And this is what MAGA voted for. This is what you fucking voted for. Because again, Barron Trump's not going. Nobody with 7 zeros in their bank account, their kids aren't going. Their kids aren't going. All right? They're not going. You got 7 zeros or more in your bank account, your kids are fine. They ain't going nowhere. The rest of us that are living paycheck to paycheck, your kids are going. Let me give you all some advice. When your kids are conscripted into the United States military, because I got a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to just say fuck this shit and get out. So when your kids are conscripted, let's hope that the service members group life insurance program is still a thing. And I would recommend that every single person that signs up or that gets conscripted into the military take advantage of SGLI, because that'll be $450,000 to your family when you're killed for these rich pieces of shit. All right. That'll be $450,000 that'll go to your next of kin. So when your kids get pulled into the fucking military, all right, that from me to you, there's a little bit of advice for your kids. Make sure they take advantage of the service members group life insurance so that you all will be taken care of after they die in a needless fucking war again. All right. That's my advice to you. Service members group life insurance. Take advantage of it while it's still there. Who knows? It'll probably go away because it's the Trump administration and it'll just be easier to leave your kid in a fucking desert. It'll be easier to just let the sand blow over their body in Iran or Israel or somewhere in the Middle East than it will be to bring them home and pay you anything for your trouble. So, that take advantage of it while you can, if you're in. All right. Look, we have to face facts. This is the reality of the choices that Republicans in this country have made. This is the reality. Our children are about to get sent overseas to go and fight and die in another needless fucking war for the billionaires in this country that are too chicken shit and cowardice to do it themselves. If you don't like what I'm saying, I don't know what to tell you. Reality sucks.
Any of you could request and say something, MAGA. I actually think it's good to know that none of you have a rebuttal to any of this, because I don't think there is one. But again, at any time, any of you could say something. This is one of the cover-ups. This is the killer, too. This is the cover-up of what's actually happening. A bill is moving through Congress to rob us all, to give tax cuts to the rich. And by the way, which we already did once, and this is times 10, right? What we did with the TCJA, we know it blows out the deficit. We know it blows up the debt. We know. No, but in modern history, no one added more to the deficit and debt than Donald Trump, or third most, I think, in modern history. Truly, we know what is coming. And instead of acknowledging any of that and stopping and doing what's fiscally responsible, we're going to go through with all of this. Why? Can anyone say anything to make sense of any of this?
No, they can't.
Of course not.
They can't. Because the only sense to be made about this is that this is going to make Donald Trump a lot of money. It's going to make him a shit ton of money. It's going to make him and his friends a lot of fucking money. All right.
Do you know what happens when the Middle East is cleared out, when it's reduced to rubble? Because MAGA, your brains don't work. So what do you think happens when a country is reduced to rubble? People with capital have a bunch of investment opportunities. Mm-hmm. You've got to level something to the ground. That's what's happening in Palestine, to create new investment opportunities.
Yep. Don't worry. Listen, Gaza, the ethnic cleansing and genocide that happened in Gaza, that was just a precursor to the large-scale attack that'll happen throughout the Middle East. I again, you don't like what I'm saying. I also don't give a shit. That this is the truth. This is where we're at. How do you prepare? We don't prepare for this. That's the thing. That's where we're at, right? There isn't a single person that is on TikTok live right now that is able to adequately prepare for what we're facing. We have 5 nuclear powers that are on the verge of open conflict with one another. 5. There is no preparing for that. There's no preparing for that. It sucks. I wish there was. Start digging a hole in your backyard and hope for the best, I guess. If you've got a basement, start putting water in it. This is what MAGA voted for. This is what the Republican Party wants. They could come out all they want right now and be like, we don't want war in the fucking Middle East. Yes, you do. Yes, you fucking do. Because you have supported the man who has continued to advocate for this shit for the past 10 fucking years. Period. This is what you wanted. Exactly. Promises made, promises kept, MAGA.
Finally, that's used in a way that makes sense. Thank God. Ace, if you're not a robot, you can come up and try to make sense of the dumb things you're saying in the chat. It's mind-boggling that there could be 1,300 people. I keep saying MAGA, saying things that don't necessarily make sense, and that yet none of you want to explain why every single thing Donald Trump promised you, he has gone back on. It's super simple. How do you justify? I've watched you guys tap dance. I've watched you guys justify abject delusion. How does any of this make sense to you? It's super simple. Explain the no new wars. You elected him because Biden's leading us into wars. Kamala Harris is a warmonger, remember? I heard leftists saying that. I heard leftists saying, I just don't trust Kamala Harris on the Middle East. So anyone, maybe even a leftist that couldn't get there with Kamala, can anyone explain to me how this is better, or how this makes sense, or how this is what Trump ran on? No new wars, and now we're here. No one. Okay, I'm not shocked.
Here's what I'm going to tell people to do, because I know people want to do something. Start showing up at your representative's office. Start calling your senators, especially if you are in red districts, and telling them that this shit needs to be fucking squashed right now. This warmongering that Donald Trump is advocating for and that Pete Hegseth and JD Vance are pushing for needs to be squashed right now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, today. Today, as in, get off your fucking asses and do your job, Congress. Today. That's what we do. That's what you do now.
Just based on my fascination with numbers and following the insider traders in Congress, I definitely suggest calling the House representatives, because most of the senators are all insider traders who are going to directly benefit from more. Oh, also don't call any moderates in the House. They also are going to directly benefit from more. Yeah.
Owen, thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm a leftist, but I joined up and I heard you mention that there's 5 nuclear powerhouses that are kind of arguing. I hear this every year, and it kind of comes to a point where it's like, is it fear mongering? Like what you said, is it fear mongering? Like if no nuclear threats happen, would you admit that it was what you said was a fear mongering tactic?
No.
Why not?
Because it's the truth. There are 5 nuclear powers that are on the verge. We are closer now to being on the verge of open conflict with those nuclear powers in the Middle East than we ever have before. How is that fear-mongering? Are you not paying attention? Are you not watching?
Yes, but who is threatened to use nuclear weapons?
Nobody. I didn't say anybody has threatened to use nuclear weapons. I said that we have 5 nuclear powers that are in an argument, lobbing missiles back and forth on the verge of open conflict with one another.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry that I misunderstood what you said. I apologize.
Okay.
But so what would you do different within the Middle East? Like, I'm probably the biggest Trump hater, but how he's handling it, to me personally, I don't know how I would handle that situation. I don't know. How would?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Maybe Donald Trump doesn't continue to Temu tweet out things like Tehran needs to be evacuated immediately, or that we know where your supreme leader is and we haven't killed him yet. Maybe the president of the United States shows a little bit of fucking restraint and diplomacy to quell the flames of war and not stoke them. That would be a good start.
Yeah, I agree. I agree there.
Okay.
The evacuate the capital of Iran, the most heavily populated place in Western Asia. I think within when you have a nuclear powerhouse who bullies the Middle East, Israel, I think that is an intelligent thing to do. Would be to evacuate a city of 10 plus million people, the most populated place in West Asia. Would be kind of smart, no? Like if the U.S. was
how does that help though? How does the president of the United States coming out and saying that Iran needs to never have a nuclear weapon, which again, Tulsi Gabbard, his director of national intelligence, said in March they are nowhere near having a nuclear weapon. They're nowhere near it. That's what the United States intelligence community is saying about Iran.
Yeah, but
why continue to stoke that theory? Because Donald Trump has said, I don't believe her. Why continue to poke that theory in the whole time? It's like Felice said, it's the exact same thing that they did to justify our invasion of Iraq back in 2003. It's the exact same thing. The only people that are fear-mongering is Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, who continue to push this ridiculous narrative against the reporting of our own intelligence community that Iran is a week away from a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, and I strongly disagree with that.
Great.
They're not close to coming to developing a nuclear weapon, but they do have.
Great. Okay, cool. So you do agree with that, though, that Iran has enriched uranium, and what we know when you read, because I'm a historical researcher, you read the reports, is that they're using that to employ nuclear power to give cheap power across Iran, and they have made no moves that, and I'm not just relying on U.S. intelligence, that the Five Eyes, that Chinese intelligence, that anyone has identified, they've made no move to make a nuclear weapon of any kind. Do you agree with that?
As far as I know, yeah, I agree. I don't know like all the.
Okay, so that's where. Okay, so great, because Owen, I can hear it. Your brain's working. I like it. Your brain's firing on all cylinders. So we do agree on that. So then the scary part is, I'm on X, right, and I'm seeing the IDF release videos like every 5 minutes saying, Iran has a nuclear weapon. Iran has a nuclear weapon. Iran has a nuclear weapon. And now I'm seeing Trump start to echo that rhetoric. And I get scared as someone who's a historian and a researcher of primary sources and understands that this happened once before. After 9/11, there was a lot of fear, and this is the exact pattern of what happened before. That's my fear, is that, people are going to start saying, who cares what the truth is? Let's just, if it's fine if we decimate a Middle Eastern country.
Yeah, so I think we agree, but the issue, I think our main contention here is, how do we solve the issue that is going on right now?
Oh, again, we stop the president of the United States from Temu tweeting out inflammatory shit that's doing nothing to stop the lobbing of missiles back and forth, but to agitate the situation. It's like, how do I stop all of these hornets from coming out of the nest? Do I keep hitting it with this badminton racket, or do I go inside and sit down for a little while?
Yeah, so I agree. If he were to stop tweeting perfect, that's perfect. But Netanyahu is not going to stop doing what he's doing.
Yeah, Netanyahu probably won't stop. And that's where the president of the United States should have the fucking nuts to say, if you're not going to stop, then we aren't going to support you. We're cutting it off. Like, this is endangering the entire fucking planet. And it's over what? Your unfounded conspiracy theories.
Well, it's over more fear-mongering. That's exactly what it's about.
It's conspiracy theories.
And can I agree? Like, can I say something? I want to give Trump a compliment because, and this is probably the nicest thing I'll ever say, is like, as far as presidents go, I've never seen someone able to control an entire group of, like, he is controlling Congress. If you are an elected Republican, your spine has been dissolved in your back. It no longer exists, and Trump informs you what you think, feel. You get an email every day, and you're given those marching orders. Oh, and I don't know where you go, but I think this is a good conversation to have, right? And so, because Trump has so much power and can control conservatives inside of Congress, then this is something he actually could have direct control over.
Yeah.
Right? Is to say, hey, I get you guys are all delusional evangelicals who believe in like a flying spaghetti monster, and whatever you think we should keep funding a war that is not benefiting us all, but now we're going to vote against this, right? This guy has attacked Syria, has attacked Lebanon, and is now attacking Iran and trying to drag us into a war in the Middle East. And Trump could easily say, no more.
No, we're not. Right? He absolutely could do it. As a matter of fact, what he could do is when Israel comes out and says, we expect America to be involved in this in the next couple of days, they could come out and say, no, we're not. But they haven't said that. They could come out and say, we're not supporting this. But we haven't said that. They could come out and do literally anything other than saying, we know where the Ayatollah is, and we'll kill him, just not right now. That's not. So is it fear-mongering to say that 5 nuclear powers are on the verge of open conflict in the Middle East? No, because that's the truth. Because that is the truth. It would be fear-mongering to say that Iran is 2 weeks away from a fucking nuclear weapon, and if we don't do something, then they're going to destroy the world. That's fear-mongering. That's fear-mongering. It's fear-mongering to say that immigrants are coming across our southern borders and they're just all a bunch of rapists and murderers and they're just the most terrible people alive and they're all coming here. That's fear-mongering. That's fear-mongering. Why say nuclear powers? Because I want you all to understand the gravity of the situation in which the president of the United States has forced all of us into. Why are you all so afraid of words? Why did I say nuclear powers? I don't know. Because China has them, because India, because Pakistan has them, because Russia has them, because Israel has them, because we have them. And we are all on the verge of open conflict in the Middle East. And I don't know if you all know this or not, but Vladimir Putin is not the most stable human being on the planet. So who the fuck knows what he's going to do? If you're seriously upset that I said that nuclear powers are on the verge of open conflict versus what the president of the United States is doing to stoke that conflict, then please stop wasting the oxygen that the oak tree outside is producing for you.
That's for you, Mark, in the comments, who said I should stop talking. You can come up here and use your big boy voice, Mark. We're waiting. You don't like hearing my voice. Why don't you fill the space with yours? He won't.
No, he won't.
It's not. Of course not. And Owen, I appreciate Owen's like train of thought. And yeah, like if you're thinking we're saying nuclear, we're obviously, if one person launches a nuclear, like everything is over, right? Like that's the point. It doesn't mean when we say people with nuclear capabilities are going to go to war. I mean, the first time someone deploys a nuclear warhead, we're all fucked. Like, yeah. That's it. Like, it's over at that point.
Yeah.
But the point is, you don't want to engage a bunch of people when we know, when all intelligence reports across the world say the same thing. The same thing they were saying about Iraq is that they didn't have any weapons of mass destruction. They don't have them. They don't exist. So we're going to go bulldoze another sovereign country? Why?
Why do I keep saying that 5 nuclear powers are on the verge of open conflict in the Middle East? Because it's important to understand the gravity of the situation in which we find ourselves. Okay? This isn't you walking into like your next door neighbor's house and smacking him around, right? These are 5 nuclear powers that are on the verge of open conflict in the Middle East. It's important to say exactly what is happening. This isn't a game. This isn't I got to be careful not to freak out anybody. You should be freaked out. This is not normal. This is not fucking normal. We should not be in this situation again. But we've got a fucking shitty diaper commander-in-chief that can't keep his fucking head on straight.
By all accounts, he smells very bad. And I mean that. I've done the research on that. Trump stinks.
Pakistan has not come out and said one way or another. The reason that I loop them in there is because they are allies of Iran. Just like China is. All right. This is a serious situation that is going to require a collective, cool, calm, and collected approach to how it is handled. Unfortunately, we've got Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth with their fingers on the fucking buttons. We don't have cool, calm, and collected in the fucking White House or in the Pentagon. We've got a bunch of fucking, it's not even stooges. They're just 3 fucking amoebas, single-celled fucking organisms that we as a country have sent to the fucking highest power in the fucking world. Pete Hegseth isn't going to push back on Donald Trump. Pete Hegseth isn't going to tell him like, oh no, that's probably a bad idea. Pete Hegseth is going to be like, awesome. Y'all want to fucking drink? Let's cheers.
I've got my war fighters ready. My war fighters are ready.
Fighters ready. Hold on, I got to go throw up in the bathroom. That's Pete Hegseth. All right. We don't have people that are in the positions right now that are intelligent enough to handle this the way that it needs to be handled with the, soft approach that is coming. Donald Trump is a wannabe strongman. He is a wannabe dictator.
That's a great point. Like, if we're going to do this, can we trade? Let's bring in Putin. If you guys want a real authoritarian, if you want a real person whose brain's working, my actual suggestion is not Putin. Let's bring in Xi. Bring in Xi Jinping. Like, if you guys think you have some man who's in control, he reeks of insecurity. You have to understand, real authoritarians laugh at him 24 hours a day. That military parade, MAGA, where you were all like, yeah, it's happening. 24 hours a day on Russian state TV, they are laughing at you all. They're like, look at this useful idiot and his band of idiots. That's you.
That's
like,
you.
so if we are going to do an actual authoritarian thing, can we bring in a real one whose brain works? Like, at least Putin led the KGB, but I prefer Xi Jinping. He's super well read. Like, if we're going to do this, let's get someone whose brain's working.
I need you all to understand the gravity of this situation. All right. Is there a guarantee that this is going to happen? No. But do I believe that Donald Trump has the emotional intelligence to step away from this conflict and approach it in a more empathetic and rational approach? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Donald Trump wants to be the biggest, baddest dude in the yard. Unfortunately, he's just a fucking dude who can't hold his shit. Literally cannot hold his shit.
That is actually documented.
So
it's a guy that occasionally shits his pants. Why? I don't know, but that's the word in the congressional blogs.
I'm done. Look, you might not, man, I don't want to hear this. Okay, well, then go somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Because this is the reality that we find ourselves in. And Donald Trump is not the one who should be handling this situation. None of the people that are in his cabinet should be the ones handling this situation. Tulsi Gabbard should not be giving intelligence briefs. Pete Hegseth should not be the Secretary of Defense. Doug Collins should not be in charge of the VA. Kristi Noem should not be in charge of Homeland Security. Kash Patel should not be in charge of the FBI. None of these people are intelligent enough or qualified enough to be having the conversations that need to be had to de-escalate this situation.
Okay, either can Big Mark, I'm not a mod, let Big Mark up here or Ken Ray, because I'm not listening to the idiot.
Oh, God, Ken Ray. I'm going to bring Ken Ray. I've talked to Ken Ray before. I'm going to bring him up. Fuck.
Just take a beat. Wait, hold on. Don't say anything, Ken Ray. Take a deep breath.
Do you realize about 50% of the country doesn't think like you two? You sit there and
their brains don't work. Yes, we are faced with people whose brains don't seem to be working.
For some reason or other, you got intelligence confused with I don't know.
We know you don't know, Ken Ray. We know. Do you have anything of use to contribute to this conversation? Okay.
Yes, I think what we should do is just drop about 3 Moabs down in that hole that Israel's already started, blow the shit out of where they are. If they're not developing a nuclear weapon, why have they been negotiating with Trump for the last 60 days?
You mean for the deal that was already on the table that Donald Trump pulled us out of so that he could then renegotiate?
He didn't pull it out.
Yes, he did. There was already
Biden pulled it out when he said, "Oh yeah, you can sell oil to China. You can sell oil to China."
Nope.
Oh really? Biden didn't tell. Yeah, Biden didn't tell Iran that they could sell oil to China.
Ken Ray, did you know that there was a nuclear
I want you to answer that question.
Ray, shut the fuck up. Did you know that there
I want you to answer that question.
Ray, shut the fuck up.
Answer my question.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, hold on. I'm the Ken Ray whisperer. Let me talk to him for a second. Ken Ray, You are not correct about this, and Matt is now going to explain to you why. So I know you're in your favorite chair. Just pull the leg rest out and just recline and receive some information, old man. Okay, thank you. It's time now for you to receive information. Okay.
We're not talking
He's ready.
we're not talking about oil sales between Iran and China. We're talking about the nuclear arms deal that was put into place under Barack Obama that Donald Trump removed us from. You remember that, Ken Ray?
Might not. It's just be honest. He may not. Henry, it's time to unmute now.
You forget the proxies that's been terrorizing everybody over there.
Ken Ray, do you remember the deal that was put into place between the United States and Iran about nuclear uranium enrichment during the Obama administration?
And when has Iran ever been honest with that?
Do you remember that? Yes or no, Ken Ray?
Yes, I do.
Who removed us from that deal, Ken Ray?
They're not honest. Iran is not honest.
Who removed us from that deal, Ken Ray?
Iran is not honest, and we should have been removed.
From that deal,
President Trump did. Your president did.
Who removed us from that deal?
No, it was Trump. Ken Ray, it was Trump.
And President Trump.
Yeah,
I said President Trump.
Oh, okay. So there was a deal. There was a deal on the table between the United States and Iran dealing with uranium enrichment. And Donald Trump removed the United States from that deal. Ken Ray, why do you think he would have done that?
It's time to unmute, Ken Ray. You can. I've directed you towards that button. You can find it. I know you can do it. You can find the button to unmute so we can hear you. If you're talking, we cannot currently hear you. You got this. It's right there in the bottom, right in the middle. You can do it. It's a microphone that has an X through it. Just push that unmute button, Ken Ray. You can do it. You can do it. Oh,
I don't.
There you go. I
knew
it. I knew you could figure it. There he goes. There's my little angel.
Hey, Olive Oil. I don't have a mute button on my thing down here. There's not an icon.
Everybody does.
No, there's not.
You're just dumb. It's fine.
No, you go fuck yourself, hairy ass.
Okay.
You look like a fucking beatnik.
Nice. A beatnik?
You're not going to sit there and say disrespectful things to me.
Why not?
I don't.
Henry, can you just take a deep breath? Your blood pressure.
Olive oil.
You're not dying.
You see, Kenray,
you're not dying on this live in front of us. Please, sir.
You see, Kenray, this is why I said disrespectful things to you, because instead of talking to Felice in a respectful tone, you just want to sit here and call her Olive Oil all the time. So why the fuck
Popeye's sidekick? Is that what he?
Why the fuck?
How old are you? That's from like 1965. We don't know.
Why the fuck would I sit here, Kenray, and listen to you try to be disrespectful to Felice and then get all up in your feelings when I'm disrespectful to you? Fucking hold that energy, bro. If you're going to be disrespectful to the guests that are up here, then I'm going to be disrespectful to you. And if that hurts your feelings, Kenray, then you can go back to mama's tit and just fucking chill in your fucking home. All right? Whatever you want to do. You good?
Here, can I ask you a question, Ken Ray? I have a question. Let me ask it. Is there something that Donald Trump could do that you would say, that is my line, this guy has gone too far, I no longer support him?
He told he didn't want the military to do anything over there, and I was kind of upset about it. I think I've listened to Iran shit before y'all were even shitting yellow.
Oh, sure.
You understand that?
Sure, Ken.
This goes back to 79.
I'm not shitting yellow, and I don't know
79.
Great.
And
great,
they
Henry.
kidnapped about
Yeah, we know.
hundreds.
God,
You
he's
know what
still
that is?
talking about the Iran hostage crisis.
That's a declaration of war right there.
Oh.
We never did anything about
Yeah,
it.
that was like
We
60
never did
years
anything
ago,
about
and then
it?
time had to go on
No.
and march on. We
never did
freed
anything
those
about it?
hostages.
Are you telling?
They
Ben
blew up-
Affleck made a movie
Hold on,
about it.
hold on.
They blew up the barracks. They blew up the Marine barracks.
Kenray, we never did anything about that. You're telling me those hostages are still there?
No, all it had to do was just Reagan come into office, and they got those people over here quite quickly.
Hold on? How did Reagan get them back?
Just by he was tough too. You guys are used to beta men.
Yeah,
you're used to beta
Reagan
men.
didn't do anything, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh,
He
what
was
did he
tough.
do?
All he had to he said a certain amount of words, and they were scared to death of him, so they let him go.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, they released him.
They were scared of him.
Well, Carter sat there, and
I think it was Jimmy Carter. Wasn't it Jimmy Carter, Ken Ray?
Jimmy Carter. Are you kidding me?
Then Reagan was the one where the hostages
Jimmy
came
Carter.
back.
Jimmy Carter had two helicopters
running
running to each other out there in the desert.
Kenray, are you familiar with the Iran-Contra affair?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
yes, I am. Very.
What was that about?
That was about exchanging weapons for
what?
It had to do with drugs and weapons and stuff like that.
Right. In the Contra area, like the Central America stuff. But what was the Iran part of that?
Furnishing weapons
for
the communists. Call them what they were.
In return for.
I can't recall exactly. If I think about it here for a minute.
Because you are a low intelligence, uneducated
And you know what?
person, right?
You're a pig fucker.
You shouldn't talk about your mom like that, Kenny.
You're what I call a fuckadoodle.
Oh, really? Is that what you?
Have you ever had a real job?
Have I ever had a real job? I mean, I was in the Marine Corps. Does that count?
That's a long time ago. And you're very rare.
Do you think it was?
You're a Marine that's a liberal is like a gem.
He looks, listen, Matt looks old. It was not as long ago as you think. He's a reverse catfish. That's
Well, that
the thing about
motherfucker
Matt.
looks older
I know
than
you're
shit.
thinking, yeah, he looks older
old
than
do you
you.
think I am,
It's
Ken?
something I keep confronting.
He looks like
Kenry, how
he
old?
looks like
yeah,
he's
how old
busting-
do you think Matt is, Ken
He
Ray?
looks like he looks like he's busting 55.
55?
Yeah, wide open. Yeah, on the other side of 55.
I'm busting 55 wide open.
You've had a rough life, buddy.
I honestly, I thought he was 65, and then I realized
You've had a
he
rough life.
Kenry, how did you know your mom's nickname?
How did you get that ugly in just a short period of time?
I spent a lot of time around people like
He
you,
was
Kenry.
stressed due to open combat.
I've seen better heads on nails.
Cool.
How can you be
Flat
a liberal
and
in the
empty.
Marine Corps? I bet you got harassed a lot if you were a liberal in the Marine Corps. I bet you kept it quiet.
That's a good point, Ken Ray. Turn your camera on. Can we see what you look like? Do you look like this picture?
I bet you.
Cam up.
Here, I invited you to turn your camera on, Kenry. You just have
Take
to
your
hit
CPAP
accept.
machine off. You don't have to have that on.
I don't know why you
No
sound out of
CPAP
breath
machine.
sitting here talking to me.
I have bad
Why are you
lungs
breathing
there,
so hard?
sonny boy.
Why are you breathing so hard, Kenry? Jesus
Well,
Christ, man. You're just sitting here having a conversation.
Sonny boy, I have very sensitive headphones and they pick up everything. And I do have some lung issues. And I have a lot of allergies.
Is it all the meth?
So I'm just asking you a question. How did you get through the Marine Corps?
Matt, let me tell you about Ken Ray, because I've known Ken Ray now for 2 years, so I feel like I can speak for him. Ken Ray, benefited from the golden age of capitalism. He is the classic boomer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can I finish, Kenray? Can you just let me tell your story? Because I have known you for you've been stalking me for 2 years now. I feel like overqualified to tell your story to America. Kenray started with a corporation. I mean, worked his way up, and like you remember the golden age of capitalism, where one job you could have 2 cars and a house, like way back when. That's how Kenray came up. Where you remember when corporations gave you a pension that provided health insurance forever? That is Kenray. You know how like Gen Z cannot stand boomers because they're like, why don't you all go get a job and just go buy a house? Like, this is the embodiment of what Gen Z is mad at. Like, he's like, why don't these children just go get a job and then they can get a house? It worked out for me, it's gonna work out for everyone else. Yeah, that's Kenray.
Kenray, why don't you want to turn your camera on? Is it because you don't look like your profile picture anymore? Are you in front of a porta potty right there? Is that a porta john you're in front of?
Does it have a headrest? A porta potty with a headrest is a good idea.
I'm telling you. No, don't
you might hear an echo in this house. It's so big.
Oh. Or it's just empty.
Don't you move 5 Gen Zers in? They can live in your bedrooms in bunk beds since there's no housing inventory. Why don't you help house people that are finding it difficult to purchase a house? When you were a child, the average homeowner was like 22. Now the average
do you two own a home?
Is 41. I don't.
You two own a home?
I do not.
I know you don't. I just asked the question.
I do.
You own a home? I bet you it's a shack.
It is.
Yeah. Now I own 2 homes. I got one up in Lake Lewiston, or West Twin Lake Lewiston, and I have my home down here.
It's Kenray.
Proving our point, Kenray. That's the point.
I see you're ageist and you're a bigot. You're a bigot towards people that come from the South, and you're an ageist. You're an ageist.
That's what you sound like, Henry.
You're a bigot and you're an ageist.
Kenray learned those words from me, from stalking me for 2 years. So.
I haven't stalked you.
I just think, and I got my porta potty down on the house.
There's at best you're about a 3 olive oil.
Oh,
my wife was a 9.
I just had this.
It's really weird to be following a 3 around the internet for 2 years. Wait, Matt, stop for a second. Can I tell you a story about Kenray? I have a really good story. Matt, wait, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
Kenray, the other day, I was debating with Pickles last Wednesday, and Kenray comes up and he goes, I've seen you been with some strange men. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, he's like, I've been watching you, and you've been with some strange men, Felice. And I was like, well, I have not had sex in like 3 years, so I couldn't possibly have been with any strange men, and I think you should stop watching me. And he's like, I seen you been with some strange men. So, I was like, you must mean Matt and Steve. Like, Kenray follows me around the internet, and he's now here to confront.
I believe when you say that, I believe you. When you say that, I believe you totally.
Hey, Natty Light Vader. What do you do now?
What do I do? I'm retired.
Breathe slowly.
I live mostly off the S&P 500.
The S&P 500. What are you invested in the S&P 500?
Worked for a billionaire.
It's a multitude.
And he has a bunch. All his money is in the stock market.
Like, what's your stock tip? What's your stock pick?
What's my
stock tip is be born in 1912, and you too could have taken advantage of the golden age of capitalism. That is his stock tip. He's like, I don't understand why these kids just can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
That's right. Y'all, you two didn't pull your bootstraps up.
What?
You two didn't pull your bootstraps up.
Oh no, I pulled my bootstraps up. Yeah, my bootstraps are where they're supposed to be.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah. I definitely pulled.
The only
my
good thing I
up.
can say you did is you went to the Marines.
Did you?
I'm sure you kept your mouth shut about being liberal in the Marines.
Were you in the military, Ken?
No, I was around the. I was pretty close.
When you start running, you sound like this.
Missed a bit.
Is that why you weren't in the Marines? Because you sound like this?
That's
when
Darth Vader.
Too hard. Is that what it is?
That's Darth Vader.
Is that
Fuckle Duckle? That's fart.
Are you
Darth
making
Vader.
that sound, Matt? I was like, is Ken Ray dying? I don't want you to die on this live, Ken Ray. Breathe slowly. Deep breaths.
Concentrate on it.
If I didn't make it till tomorrow morning, I had such a great life that I had a family, a real family.
A real
Felice.
one? Yeah, a real one,
You're
Ken
going
Ray?
to die alone.
You didn't
and I
get
imagine
one of
you
them
will
from,
too.
From Timu.
That I'm going to die alone?
You're going to die alone, Ken Ray?
Yeah. Who are you
Good for you.
going to have? There's not going to be any aunts
I'm
or
going
uncles
to.
or
Only if I'm
cousins or
lucky.
people like that.
Where's your kids?
gonna
Do
bother.
they not talk to you either?
No, we were very.
Yeah, I figured. Bye. Oh,
Don't die though. Keep breathing. Don't
Ken Ray
die.
got a violation, and so did I. So
Why? What happened?
Oh,
That
bullying
was,
and harassment. I don't know. I was concerned about Ken Ray.
Oh, Jennifer, thank you for the $5 remember. She said, did Ken Ray's wife leave or die to get away from him? Either way, she won. I'm just reading messages from other people. I'm, just...
Time to go to bed, Ken Ray. Time to go to bed. It's 4:00. It's time for dinner. It's 4 o'clock.
It is. It's
time,
you missed
time to
the
go
early
get dinner,
bird
Ken Ray.
special,
That
Ken
early
Ray.
bird
And-
special is already out.
But now
the
he got to
Sizzler.
meet you because he did tell me, he's like, I've been seeing you with strange men, Felice. Who are they? Like,
This is the only way that I will interact with MAGA. I'm not trying to have conversations with them anymore, but I will shame them into violations as often as I can. That's all I'm going to do. Anyway.
Yeah, you should meet my stalkers one by one. You would love
Well,
it.
that's 2, right, that I've met so far. So we'll just bring them up one at a time every Tuesday.
What it was. Just everyone, all my stalkers, just if you want to meet Matt, the strange man I've been around, you can. Just one by one,
God.
just come up and he can talk to you about it. It will be fun. It'll
One
be great. Thank you, Vicky.
One of the scribbers.
He's like,
in
I
the,
seen you with some strange man, Felice. And Pickles is like, what?
One of the scribbers in the Discord said about Ken Ray not being in the military that he had lung spurs.
Hi, monkey, but I'm a nice stalker. See, yeah, not to the nice stalkers. This isn't about you. Just the ones that are like, I seen you doing weird. Why are you spreading yourself around with too many men, Felice? I counted 4. You done been hanging around. Yeah, those stalkers.
Oh,
2 years. I've known Ken Ray for 2 years. You think I'm like, oh, he's stalking me and I'm joking. 2 years. I've known Ken Ray 2 years.
Oh my God.
Keep coming back, Ken Ray. I'm almost starting. It's almost like my creepy like the creepy uncle. You're like, here he comes again. Creepy uncle's here. Do something embarrassing. You're just like, let him up. Let him talk.
No, I think I've had enough of Ken Ray. So that'll be enough of that. Anyway, I should probably.
Hey, you don't like you? Well, you should be a woman on the internet. That's enough. You don't want this 24 hours a day. Then yeah, like you just don't even understand.
I don't.
Yeah, that's the smartest one. You just you met the smartest stalker. That was the one that's really has it together. Yeah, that was
all downhill.
All down, straight downhill. Yeah, that was the smartest stalker I have. Keep coming, Kenray. Just breathe slowly. We breathe slowly, sir.
Or don't breathe slowly. Just whatever, man. You're an adult. You've got a big house or something. 2 of them, I guess.
2 houses.
2 houses out there.
I don't understand why Gen Z just can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get a house.
Down there, and I got my car down there, had a whole family, and I just had a
Fucking Kenray.
Keep on keeping on, Kenray. Like, for real. Like, you are a living meme.
1979.
I got my first house for $8,000. Super easy. I got a pension, and everything's fine. I don't understand why these kids can't just pull themselves up. Their boots don't seem to be on. I got 2 houses. One's in Lewiston. What seems to be the problem?
Oh, I hate you, Kenray. All right. Anyway.
Have we done yet? But meanwhile, we're all about to go to war.
Yeah.
We're going to be robbed. We're all being robbed by billionaires while Mag is like, everything's fine. And then we've got to listen to this. Like, this is the real. Nothing's wrong. Everyone, just go to sleep tonight. Why wouldn't you sleep tonight? Everything's fine. No reason to be alarmed. Everything's totally fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, fuck. All right. I think I should. That's probably a good.
Yeah, that's. I think I need to go curl into a ball and cry.
Well,
I'm going to be in the bottom of my shower crying for 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. This was just a ball of good energy all day today.
Someone's asking if yes, Matt did get arrested for protesting. He's
did.
awesome. Do you feel like telling? Someone asked.
So on Friday, hi Faith, I'm okay. On Friday, this past Friday, I linked up with a couple of anti-war veterans organizations, and we staged a sit-in protest on the steps of the Capitol, where we were arrested, detained for 10, 12 hours, flexi-cuffed and everything, kind of held there. Faith was home the whole time. I didn't bring Faith with me because I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen this weekend, so I left Faith at home. Yeah.
Tell the story of John really quick. John's the real hero.
John is the real fucking hero. So John is an 87-year-old Vietnam vet. You probably saw the video and pictures of the guy who was using a walker to get up there, who the Capitol Police took his walker away and zip tied his hands behind his back and whatnot. That's John. So John is an absolute legend. He was in there he was detained in the same place that I was from like 8 o'clock at night until about 6:15 the next morning. While we were in there, John, listen, while we were in there was things got a little quiet there for a minute 'cause we weren't taking things too seriously. And John turned to everybody and was like, "Don't worry, guys. This happened to me a few months ago at Standing Rock." And I was like, this motherfucker, this 87-year-old Vietnam vet a few months ago was arrested protesting and standing up with the indigenous nations out at Standing Rock. And then while we were in custody, he managed to like get his hands out of his flexi cuffs. This is how unserious veterans are. and it goes all the way back. Like there is no. He got his hands out of the flexi cuffs and started like wearing them like glasses on his face, like in front of the cops. Like just had them on his face. He was like playing with them like they were scissors and shit. Like completely unserious. He turned to me and a couple other guys and was like, I told some ladies at the home that I was coming to DC and that I'd bring them something back. I guess this is all they're going to get. I'm like, you're kinky as shit, John.
Probably has those women tied up with those cuffs right now.
Like John's a legend. Like I told him, I was like, John, I can't even imagine being alive at 87, let alone getting arrested for protesting at 87. Like I said, John was in there from about 8 o'clock the night before until 6:15 on Saturday, right? In the morning. He comes out, and when asked how it felt to get arrested at 87 years old, he's like, I'm just getting started. I'm gonna get some rest, and then we're gonna get right back at it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this dude is a fucking machine.
Did you tell him about his walker, throwing his walker?
Oh yeah, no. So like when he first started coming up to the steps, he like
tell him how he got arrested.
Yeah, he maneuvered his walker around the like bike rack fencing that they had there, and got about halfway there, and officers were like, "Sir, you have to go back." So they escorted him back, and then when the Capitol Police were all focused on us up on the steps, John was like, "Oh, now's my chance," and he starts going again. And so the officers come out like, "Sir, you're gonna have to go back," and he was like, "No," and like tried to go around them. And they're like, "Sir, you have to go back to the fence." He's like, "No, I have to go that way," and tried to go around him again. They're like, "Sir, do you want us to arrest you?" And he was like, "Sure, but I got to go up there," and just kept trying to go up there. And that's when they arrested him. John is a fucking legend. Okay. John is a fucking
87. Legend. I'm living in jail. That's what I've decided. If this is still going on, that's what I'll be doing.
John is the anti-Ken Ray. Okay. John is the anti-Ken Ray. Yeah.
So true. Ken Ray, get out of your chair and go get arrested for something that matters. Exactly.
Yeah. John is the anti-Ken Ray, like the exact opposite of Ken Ray. But yeah, he was hilarious. He was cracking us up out there.
How to find John so we can interview him? How cool would that be?
I've got his information. I'm gonna try to reach out to him.
Maybe we could interview some ladies at the nursing home.
At the nursing home? Tell us about John.
Yeah, what do you know? How do you know John?
How do you know John? That dude, I'm telling you.
Did he bring those plastic cuffs home? Yeah, I would love that. Like, thank you so much. I said this before. I'm not going to cry the second time I said it, but thank you for standing up for people that can't stand up for themselves. Like, that's why I love you, Matt. It's because you use your privilege in the right way, and it's truly inspiring.
I try. So we're gonna keep doing it. I guess I'm probably gonna have to go down to New York City now that some fuck shit's happening down there. So
those are the best protests. I lived in New York City for like a year. Man, you haven't lived until an old woman pushes you into the street, into oncoming traffic, because you're not walking fast enough. Like, New York City are my people. Like, you'll love it there. Like, some old woman will beat you up, and then you'll be like, now I'm living.
Now I know where I am. I know my place in
like
the
New York.
now.
Everyone should live in New York for like 2 months just to level check what a pussy you are.
Oh yeah, No, you will very quickly be like, oh, I ain't shit. That 90-year-old
I cannot survive here. Like, some woman just pushed me into oncoming traffic.
Me into fucking traffic because I wasn't moving fast enough for her. Yeah.
As always, a pleasure. Thank you for having me. We'll see you guys again. Matt, I really do appreciate you. Ken Ray, you keep on breathing, sir. We don't want you to die. Maybe rethink all of your beliefs, but just keep breathing.
All right.